Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at the Walmart in Prosper, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel with the notification bell on, as well as following me on Instagram for more daily plant shopping content. But as you can see right here, I just wanted to go to the entrance and show you all of the large foliage plants that this particular Walmart has. They've got a bunch of Monstera deliciosas here, and I ended up actually buying a Monstera deliciosa at a Walmart recently. But let's go back outside and take a look at some of the plants that they have in their outdoor section. It is late spring, and I love to feature outdoor plants just because I love gardening as well. So for those that are new to this channel, typically I will show you guys tropical plants, indoor house plants, but I also want to feature different types of plants such as outdoor gardening. Here you can see that we've got a bunch of Acer palmatum or Japanese maples. This one is a blood good for 1947 by by Garden Expert, and that is an awesome deal for a 1 gallon Japanese maple that is already staked up. I actually bought one of these for myself and then also for my mother-in-law. We planted those actually recently in her backyard. I might actually buy another one for $19.97. That is not a bad price at all. And blood goods actually do very well in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at. So the only thing about Japanese maples is they really need to be protected from the late afternoon sun. They can't really tolerate really hot weather, so that makes it a little bit more of a challenging plant to grow out in Texas when we have like 100+ degree weather. I anticipate that I said Walmart. I anticipate that the weather is going to be really hot the next couple of days. We're going to be hitting the 90s, so it is about to hit summer, and I want to just enjoy some of this moderate weather that we have. But as you can see right over here, we've got tons of different types of shrub plants. I want to show you these gardenias right here. Now with gardenias, they're very fragrant flowers. They do need to be in more shade, and this is the season of Boston ferns. It looks like every big box or every local plant nursery, they have Boston ferns everywhere. And I want to go ahead and pan out over here and show you all of the beautiful plants. I will say this Walmart isn't really that stocked in terms of just the amount of plants that they have. It's not a large Walmart like the one that I showed you guys recently, my plant foldies. And if you are new to this channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. I featured the Rockwall, Texas Walmart, and when I say that Walmart was fabulous, it is probably the best Walmart in Texas that I've seen so far. But this Prosper Walmart is not a bad Walmart at all. They've got most of the outdoor plants that you want to look for. Like right over here, they have these container made easy plants right here by Better Homes and Gardens. I actually got one on clearance for $5, so I really saved a lot of money. And with that particular container, I love lantanas. The lantanas I just recently planted about 3 weeks ago are starting to really put on a lot of growth. They are starting to spread and mount, and I really want to make sure that they become some beautiful ground cover for my backyard, just right underneath some of my Japanese maples. A lot of my backyard actually ends up getting a lot of full sun, so lantanas are great plants to plant down. They can tolerate very hot conditions, drought tolerant, and look at these beautiful blooms here. They are also a perennial for my growing zone, which is 8B. So that is another plus. So whenever you grow perennials in your landscape, depending on your grow zone, you will actually have that plant come back year after year. Now, Coleus plants are listed as annual plants, so if you're going to grow them in the outdoor landscape, they typically will die back and you'll have to replant them. But Coleus plants, and that is another plant that I have been really obsessed about. I am addicted to Coleus plants. Look right over here. These are for $17.88, and you've got a mixed planter of several different types of Coleus plants. What I love about Coleus plants is not only do they have beautiful foliage, they're a very versatile type of plant to grow. You can grow them outdoors or indoors. You can overwinter them. You can grow them from propagation. Like you can literally take small cuttings off of this particular wizard rose Coleus that went over there with the pink, and you can just root it in straight water or directly into soil. Honestly, I have discovered that just by putting Coleus plants directly into soil, the cuttings are a lot easier to root, and you don't have to worry about having to transition those water roots. But you can see here, these are not a bad price at all for all of the Coleus you get here. Now, I would suggest if you see that this Coleus plant is actually blooming, you want to cut back the blooms just because it'll stun the growth of the Coleus plant. If you're growing plants for foliage, which are the leaves, you want to go ahead and get rid of the blooms because the blooms are going to actually take up a lot more energy from the plant. But you can see over here, like you can literally take a cutting like that, stick it in water or soil, and you'll be able to propagate that and have a new plant. I am all about plant propagation because I think that's one way to go save money on plants. You know, it's all about budgeting your types of plants that you get. I will say big box stores typically have cost-effective pricing, although I will also say that local plant nursery is another place that you can go for some of these plants, like even the Coleus plants that I'm seeing right here. Callaway's Nursery, which is a local plant nursery chain out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they have a bunch of Coleus plants, starter plants for $2.49, which is not a bad price at all. So love that. I love Coleus plants. If you are a plant folding, has been following my channel for at least the past month, you will already know that I have featured Coleus plants in every single video of mine, unless the plant shop doesn't actually carry them. I always look for Coleus plants whenever I am going big box store plant shopping. And so if you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribing to my YouTube channel at Growfolds. With the notification bell on. I know some of you viewers have mentioned that you've been watching my channel daily, and I appreciate it so much, but haven't actually subscribed. Please subscribe to the channel, because if you have the notification bell on, you will actually be notified whenever I upload a video or upload a poll or even do a live premiere chat. I will say all of my live premiere chats are typically scheduled for 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sometimes I might take a break from a day, but I typically bounce back and actually have videos for you. Plant shopping videos do take a little bit of time. I really want to do it right by making sure I give you guys 1 hour plant shopping videos, so that way we can all hang out at the live premiere chat. So if you're watching this video live, please make sure you are saying hello. Don't be shy, because we are a friendly bunch, and the plant folding community is continuing to grow, and I love it. I'm hoping to be able to reach 10,000 subscribers by the mid-May or even at the end of the month. So if you can, please share my videos with other plant lovers. But you can see here, I actually featured this beautiful flowering plant right here for $9.97. I don't really know a lot about the plant care tips, but the thing about big box stores, especially with Better Homes and Garden plants that you'll find at Home Depot, I say Home Depot, you at Walmart, actually. See, that's when you know you've been big box or plant shopping, because you mix up the big box stores. But they will give you like plant care tips. Like, I love potato vines right here. This is the dark foliage purple one by Better Homes and Gardens, and I love that. The only thing about potato vines is if you try to grow them indoors, they are more spider mite prone. They do require full sun. Here is a Coleus flamethrower for $5.88. I actually have this flamethrower Coleus plant. Love this because the flamethrower series actually can tolerate full sun. So this is what you would consider a sun Coleus. So Coleus plants in general prefer bright indirect light. They need protection from the afternoon sun, but we've hybridized these Coleus plants now where these Coleus can actually take full sun. And for weather like mine, full Texas sun, it's very intense, but these Coleus plants can do so good in it. And then over here, you've got to love these Kalanchoe flowers. These are for $4.97. Now with Kalanchoe, I realized that they are actually a succulent plant, but this particular one is a profuse bloomer. Love the pink foliage. I mean, not the pink foliage, but the pink blooms. It's a plant that really requires a lot of bright light. So if you grow that actually in full sun, they will do very well. If you grow them indoors, you really have to provide a lot of light. I would say south-facing window or a grow light would be best for it. And then over here, we've got some more Coleus plants. You already know these Coleus. I love them so much. These are for $8.78. This is the Main Street Coleus plant. I actually have this one as well. So I pretty much have bought every single type of Coleus plant that Walmart provides. I love the fact that Walmart does have some really cost-effective prices for their plants. They're super cheap, and you can propagate Coleus plants. I think that is a big draw for me. I am all about propagation, just seeing the roots develop to be able to like actually get more free plants. And what I like about Coleus plants is you can grow them as like a full-on tree indoors. So I've seen a lot of European Instagram accounts where they have Coleus plants that have reached up to like 3 to 4 feet in height. Now the bottom stems eventually start to get woody when you train it. So that's something that I will eventually do. Right now, I am just trying to propagate as many Coleus as possible. They have become really bushy as well. Here we've got New Guinea impatiens. So what I like about New Guinea impatiens is look at how it's got a very stem, like a caney variety of stem. This looks like it'd be another easy plant to propagate from cuttings. Love the purple or dark foliage underneath the plant, and then obviously the green plant. So I love the 2-layer plants as well. And obviously the blooms are beautiful. With New Guinea impatiens though, you do need to make sure that you are providing them shade. They prefer to be in more shaded conditions unless they are sun patients, which is another topic I'll show if I actually find some here. And then over here, beautiful foxglove flower. So this is another plant that I recently discovered by shopping at Walmart. You can see right over here, beautiful flowers. They have these like trumpet cascading flowers right here, beautiful looking purple colors as well. Now with these foxglove plants, they almost look like vegetables right here, at least the foliage. These do require full sun. A lot of the flowering plants actually require full sun just because it does require a lot of energy from the plant. So just definitely make sure you know what the care conditions are for certain plants. And then over here we've got a bunch of yellow lantana. So these ones are better home and garden. These are for $15.88, and then these would really be well suited for areas that have really hot temperatures, full sun. These mound up and they are perennial, so I really like that a lot. When you start to see beautiful clusters of lantana, that's just absolutely stunning. I'm getting really excited about my backyard actually having those. I'm starting to see a lot more growth in them. And then obviously this is a classic plant that I've grown as a kid, even from seed. These are zinnia plants, and I really like the fact that these zinnias are a little bit more dwarf in their form. They make great cut flowers, however, and you know, with zinnias, they just need full sun, so they really do need full sun just alongside with marigolds, but they are easy to harvest the actual seeds from. And it's interesting because if you let different types of colors of zinnia plants grow, they are actually going to be pollinated, and sometimes you can hybridize them and cross-pollinate, so you'll get different colors. That's an interesting thing. I actually collected a bunch of zinnia seeds a little while back, about a year ago. I haven't planted them, but I might actually throw them down into the ground. They're really easy to propagate, or at least grow from seed. And the only thing about zinnias is you don't really want to water the bottoms or the tops of the leaves because they are susceptible to fungus diseases. They really need to be in hotter conditions as well. Here are some celosia plants. $8.78. Beautiful plant as well. I love the stems, the magenta stems, and also the magenta flowers right here. They don't even really look like real flowers. I do like the texture of it. That is another plant that, you know, a lot of people will grow as annual plants. And then you can see over here we've got another plant. This is an Angelonia plant. I've never seen this plant as well. This is a new addition to the Walmart outdoor plants. These are my Better Homes and Gardens. But in a late afternoon right off of work, I did want to go ahead and just do another big box shopping video. I know a lot of y'all will like to watch big box or plant shopping videos, but I do like to also feature Dallas-Fort Worth local plant shops. I recently uploaded and premiered the Petus Planters plant shop. If you definitely love like rare, uncommon, and just a really cool small business, definitely check that plant shop out. I would love for you to check it out if you haven't gotten a chance to see that live premiere from last night. It was a really nice plant shop that I visited, and I fully support it. Follow them on Instagram as well at Petus Planters, as well as me. If you haven't already followed me on Instagram at Growfolds, that is the fastest way to connect with me. You can send me a direct message, and it's so cool that a lot of you plant foldies have sent me pictures of your plants, pictures of Coleus plants, pictures of your plant collection. keep those going because I love to interact with you guys. Again, a lot of these plant shopping videos are really more about interactive, interactions with each other. And I love the fact that these live premiere chats have really seen a lot of new faces. So you guys are all welcome to say hello and ask as many questions as possible. We've got a lot of plant folding regulars. And in this plant right here that I picked up is a pentas plant, beautiful plant as well. I love flowering plants also that have clustering going on, like these right here are some more lantanas. I will feature lantanas often in my outdoor gardening plant shopping videos just because look at how beautiful these flowers are. I never really paid attention to them until recently, and they are such an easy to care for plant. They are drought tolerant, which makes them very easy to grow in landscapes, especially out in the summers of Texas, where 100+ degree weather is literally common. I am dreading it, but I am happy that I've been able to get plants that are a little bit more suitable to my climate. And that's another thing, plant foldies. Whenever you are doing outdoor gardening, you really want to do research on your grow zone, as well as what plants are compatible for your climate. The last thing you need is to be planting a bunch of, say, impatiens in full sun, and then, they end up crisping and dying. Here is another Better Homes and Garden Coleus. This is another Main Street Coleus plant. Notice how this one is different. Love the lime neon green edging of it, and also the texture of the Coleus plant. Really like that a lot. I would say the only drawback for Coleus plants is that they require a lot of light. So surprisingly, knowing myself, I don't really water my indoor plants in my house as often, but whenever I'm growing plants outdoors, it's easy for me to take a hose and water them quickly. Coleus plants definitely need that. So I am a little bit concerned about when I do take some of my Coleus plants indoors to grow as houseplants, how I will maintain it. The thing about Coleus plants, they will definitely let you know when they are thirsty. It is a plant that starts to droop. And so that is one of those plants that as soon as you water it, they'll give it about an hour or two, it will perk up. And then here we have everybody's favorite. This is a Hydra helix, or the correct way to say it is Hedera helix, or English ivy. Now, English ivy are best grown to be outdoors. They are a very challenging plant to grow indoors. I have yet to really meet somebody that has successfully grown English ivy indoors because they are such spider mite magnets. And then over here, we've got another interesting looking fern. This one has more of a silver foliage. Let's see what this fern is. This is a Japanese painted fern. So that is another cute looking fern here. I don't really have a lot of ferns in my collection. I actually don't have a single fern in my collection just yet. I'm considering getting a fern that is like a bird's nest type fern. So we'll see about that. But the only thing about ferns the reason why I'm not really into them is because of the watering conditions. They really need to stay moist. And again, knowing my daily life and my routines, my demanding job, and even YouTube now, I just don't know if I have enough time to really invest in a plant that requires a lot of watering. And then here is a perennial plant that we see often. These are Callia lilies. So you can actually grow Callia lilies in full sun. They are a perennial in grow zone 8B. So this is a plant that I can plant down and actually have come back year after year. I often see Callia lilies though at a grocery store in the floral section being given as like a floral gift. I always say if you're going to give somebody flowers, go ahead and give them a full plant that is rooted so that way they can last and actually give more blooms. Now, these are these purslane flowers, which are often mistaken as portulacas. This is another easy to care for plant. They are drought tolerant. They need a lot of light, however, and they are good ground cover. Now, these would be annuals, though, if you're going to grow them in Texas because of the freezes we get. And then right here are some variegated ajuga plants. I don't know why I am drawn to this particular plant, and you can see right here, it's starting to trail. I actually have bought 2 variegated ajuga plants from Walmart, and I have grown them in containers, and they are doing fabulous. They have some really good diversity in terms of just being able to tolerate lower light conditions like shade or full sun. Now, if you give them a lot more light, their variegation and cream pinks will show more pronounced. So like right over here, these were what I bought. These are for $4.37. Look at how vigorous the roots are growing. This is super root bound, and you can see that it is already starting to trail. And notice how they have aerial roots here. This would be another plant that would be super easy to propagate, and I think that's the reason why I am a little bit more drawn to certain plants plants, especially if the propagation success is high. I like propagating plants. I think that is the fun part about plant parenthood, is just being able to create more plants. Like you can literally cut this part off, stick it in water or soil, and you have a new ajuga plant. Like this one is really trailing. So I always look at these plants. Like obviously I've seen some of these trending tropical exotic angel plants by Costa Farms in hanging baskets. I haven't ever really seen ajuga plants, but I would really think that they would be a really cool hanging basket plant just because they can trail. Look at that purple and pink variegation. It is a beautiful plant, and it is another plant that can tolerate lower light conditions, which makes it a candidate for indoor plants, because let's face it, most indoor spaces don't have the best lighting. And this is a plant that can tolerate lower light conditions. I will say if you give it bright light or full sun, it's going to give you the best coloration. So I'm just going to walk past here, and you can see we've got an array of hanging baskets of geraniums, lots of outdoor tropical plants as well. But you know, geraniums, I like them. They can take full sun, but I do not like the smell of their leaves. It's not a very pleasant smell. And then over here we've got the Island Bloom series by Costa Farms. Now these are the more cost-effective starter plants. These ones you can grow as an outdoor landscape tropical plant. These are for $5.84. This is a white bird of paradise, and bird of paradise, when grown indoors, really needs a lot of bright indirect light. You can actually grow them in full sun and they will do very well. They might potentially bloom. I will say white bird of paradise will not bloom indoors. There's just not enough lighting, but you can see how beautiful that new leaf is that have unfurled. So plant foldies, let me know what Walmart plants I've shown you in my past videos or current videos that you really like to see. You can see right here, that is another alocasia, California. Very easy to grow alocasia outdoors. I will say alocacias outdoors are just easy to take care of. And then we've got a bunch of Dracaena marginatas right over here. We've got a Hawaiian cordyline tea plant. These are for $5.84. I bought one of these a little while back. It is actually an 8-inch planter. I know that it's probably a way larger size planter to put it in, but it is sizing up fairly quickly, and I love that it's got that pink variegation. With cordyline plants, if you give them really good lighting, they will give you the best coloration, and I have been trying to collect some. So I have two different varieties of cordyline plants. I have this one right here, and I also have the pinstripes one, which I found at Home Depot. It was a little bit pricey though, for $20. Now these right here for $5.84. I'm noticing that this one is a little bit more compact in its growth, so I don't know if it's just a different type of cordyline tea plant, but I do want to get me a more compact version. I know Callaway's Nursery, which is a local plant nursery, carries them, but I might actually end up buying one of these more compact versions of the cordyline tea plant. Now, grown indoors, they are a lot more susceptible to spider mites, so they are just really best to grow outdoor and out in your patio or in your landscape. And then over here, we've got some more cordyline tea plants in combination planters. They are in combination planters with mandevilla flowers. And I'll tell you, mandevilla flowers are everywhere. It is a tropical blooming flower that takes full sun. And I do like the mixed containers, so those are really cool as well. So if you want instant gratification, you can always just buy yourself a mixed container. Some people are not as versed about mixing plants in a container, but this one is already instant gratification. Look at that beautiful pink and red variegation on that cordyline tea plant. We've got a Croton petra right over here. Those are finicky plants as well. I still love them because I love the coloration on them. And that's the thing about the plants I like, plant foldies. They just have to have a certain characteristic. And I've mentioned this before. For me, I like plants that are easy care. And what that means is they are drought tolerant, they are lower light condition tolerant, and easy to propagate. So if you have those three categories, then I am able to actually add them into my home. And then over here, I'm going to pan over all of these encore azaleas. I love azaleas. They are a little bit challenging for me to grow in my landscape just because I don't have the best shade to provide them. But they remind me of Japanese gardens, and I am obsessed with Japanese gardens. I love Japanese culture. I love origami. And for those that have followed my channel and are new to it, it was actually originally an origami ASMR channel. It was really for me to just fold paper cranes. My goal is to fold a million paper cranes in my lifetime. I still fold paper cranes on a daily basis, so I've got a lot going on in my my day. I mean, pretty much every minute of my day is packed with something, and I like that. I like to have a routine where I feel like I'm doing something productive. And over here, this is a beautiful bush. These are the Chinese fringe flower bush. Love the purple. They do very well in Texas weather as well. And you can see that those are Texas plants. And then over here are some tree form oleander plants. So oleander have beautiful blooms. They take full sun. And the only thing about oleander is you have to be careful. Super toxic. They are actually a poisonous plant. You definitely don't want to ingest the leaves. You don't want your pets to be around that. You don't want small children like nibbling on the leaves because they are highly toxic. And that's the thing about this. Most people would not know that oleander are actually poisonous plants. So that is another thing. Whenever you are plant shopping, you want to try to do some research before you buy the plant and know not only the toxicity of the plant, the growing habits of it, and then just the care tips. And then over here we've got a bunch of like peach trees. I actually like peach trees. I have 2 peach trees that I'm not growing really for peaches. I'm growing them most so for that little 2 to 3 week season where they actually push out beautiful cherry blossom like flowers. And then over here, we've got some Fatsia japonica or Japanese Aralia. This is another perennial plant in grow zone 8B, which is where I'm at. This is labeled as a spider's web Fatsia japonica, but it does not look like it. It looks like just a regular green version, which is fine. I don't mind green plants, but I really do think that this is a mislabeled Fatsia japonica or Japanese Aralia. This is for $9.97. Really good price for it. Now I saw actually, it's $10.97. Either way, it's still a really good price for that plant. And then over here, we've got some more nandinas. So I like nandina. So these bush are really easy to grow, and I like the fact that they have beautiful colors. They come in different varieties as well. I like the neon varieties. I have been able to grow nandinas out in my front patio landscape, and it is facing south facing, so it's getting a lot of full sun. And then over here we've got some more shrubs. It looks like we've got some more azaleas. Here's some regular red azaleas. Now with azaleas, I typically recommend azaleas, encore azaleas, because they can actually rebloom 3 times a year versus just a typical azaleas. Now if you are going to have azaleas, you want to make sure that you have acidic soil. So how you can get your soil to be more acidic is literally by taking coffee grounds and just sprinkling them on the top of the soil. That will actually really increase the acidity. Other plants that like acidity would be like Japanese maples. And then over here we've got a bunch of tomato cages. So I actually have some grow plants or grower boxes, lifted grower boxes that I will be growing some vegetables. I've got a bunch of peppers already growing and producing a lot of peppers. I love homegrown vegetables because you can control what things are being placed into the soil, so it's got more of an organic feel about it. And what I like to do with my vegetables is actually make tempura with them. So again, it's that whole Japanese cuisine and culture. I love tempura. I don't know if you guys like tempura, especially when it is super crispy. It is amazing. But you can see they even have hanging baskets of vegetable plants, which I find interesting because most of the vegetable plants are not really trailing. And then over here is a fern that I actually have appreciated and might actually consider growing. This is a holly fern right over here. This one is for $8.77 by Garden Expert. Now, Garden Expert is really the name brand of Walmart for their outdoor and indoor plants. The most cost-effective pricing, I would say, in a lot of big box stores. But you can see right there, holly fern. Holly fern also do not need to be in full sun. They need to be more in a shaded condition, and their soil needs to remain a little bit more moist. So your watering needs to be a little bit more consistent. And I'm just going to pass over here and just show you guys again all of these beautiful lantanas. And don't worry, I will definitely get you guys the indoor tropical plants at this Walmart, but I always like to spend a little bit of time showing you guys the outdoor sections. And I think at this point, you can go to a Walmart or any big box store and see the flower of the hour, and that is the petunia. Love petunias. They come in so many different varieties. I am amazed about the diversity of petunias that we actually have available at many big box stores and local plant nurseries. I've seen so many different colors, and it's really exciting. I love that fiery red tone that we have over here. Absolutely gorgeous petunias, and this isn't a mixed planter. And that's the thing I like about that is those mixed planters. We've got also some zinnias here. Now with the petunias as well as zinnia plants, we want to make sure that we are providing full sun for these plants if you're going to grow them. And just know that they are annual plants. So what that means is they will not really last past the growing season. They will die back in the winter, and then you'll have to replant them. Here is another beautiful lantana here. Can I tell you that I probably have a slight obsession of lantanas as well? If I'm going to think of like a flowering plant that I'm growing in my outdoor sections, I would say lantanas would be the definite one. They have really grown on to me. I didn't really ever pay attention to them until I started to do my research and think about what flowering plants can grow in Texas hot weather that can tolerate that hot weather. And lantanas, after doing research and just even seeing their growth, they are very vigorous growers. And that's another thing that also I like about certain plants. If they are a fast growing plant, I just love it. I mean, I think for many plant foldies or people who love plants, I think the reason why we also grow plants is because we like to see new leaves unfurl, new growth, and just really document and actually just follow the journey of a plant as it develops and grows. So that's another thing I like about the lantana. It's just a very vigorous grower. Here we've got some caladium plants. Again, caladium plants I have been told can grow indoors, and it's exciting that some people have reached out to me via Instagram and told me that they've been able to grow caladiums indoors. I may end up growing some caladiums as well. There are some specific caladiums I want to grow, and those are the Thai hybrids. Like there's I love pink plants, so if you haven't seen my Instagram reels, you already know that I'm obsessed with pink plants as well. But the different colors that they have of caladiums is really nice. But there is a particular caladium called the caladium pink symphony, which is a Thai type caladium that's just really awesome. And you can see right here, that Coleus plants cannot escape me whenever I go big box or plant shopping. So this is one that I really recently bought, or not recently bought, I bought a while back. And when I say that it is a full-blown bush, it is a full-blown bush. It has grown for me. It is some type of Kong Coleus, but just more so green. I really like that as well. So Coleus plants come in different shapes, sizes, and they have a particular variety called the Kong Coleus, where these are the more larger form varieties. I have yet to really find a Kong Coleus that can take full sun, but they are gorgeous as well. Mine is about 2.5 to 3 feet tall, and I've only been growing it for about a month. So that's when you can tell that it is a really fast growing plant. And the thing about Coleus plants again is if you trim them back, when you trim a stem, 2 more shoots will pop out. And then when you trim those 2 more shoots will pop out. So it'll just continue to get really bushy. And I don't really like to waste Coleus cutting. So whenever I trim it back, every single piece of those plants, as long as there's a viable stem, I will stick it in soil. And I have pretty much had a 99% propagation rate from Coleus plants. Like you really can't mess it up unless you just I don't know. At this point, it would just be not meant to be if it's just not going to propagate. And then for my plant foldies, specifically Kathy, who is always on the live premiere chats. I really appreciate you, Kathy from Canada. Here are some of these succulent plants. I know you guys requested me to show you guys some more succulent plants. I am not really versed with succulent plants, so that's the thing. I can show you guys these plants and maybe give you guys some of my insights. Like this is an extravaganza right over here. Beautiful rosette shape with the succulent plants. I think that's to draw with succulent plants is that they are just very beautiful in the shape. This one is for $9.96. The only succulent plants I'm growing right now are Crassula, which are jade plants. I have a jade bonsai that I really need to do an update for, as well as aeoniums. So aeoniums are my favorite succulents. And the reason why I was exposed to aeoniums is because when I took a trip out to Carmel by the Sea in California, I've actually gone 3 times. They have them growing in landscapes. I'm actually kind of jealous about the California weather just because they can grow a lot of these plants that would normally be an annual in Texas, but can actually be a plant that can go past being an annual and actually either being a perennial or an evergreen. And then over here, we've got another calanchoe. And notice how blooming calanchoes, like that floral calanchoes, are in the succulent section because it's a succulent. And then here is another crusala that I want to get and grow. This is a crusala obliqua tricolor. And notice how it's got some subtle pink. Now, if you sun stress this or just literally flood it with full sun for 8 hours, it will give you some beautiful pink lining variegation. And that's the same thing with some of the other plants like Hoyas or just sun stressing plants in general. That's a really cool concept that I just recently learned not too long ago. And then over here, we've got another compact type of jade plant or crassula. And then for the plant folding that corrected my pronunciation, yes, I'm working on it. I was calling it crusala, but it's crassula. So yeah. And that's the thing, I am always open for feedback. I know that some of my plant pronunciations could use some help. Some of them are a little bit more difficult, so sometimes I rely on the subtitles. But for today, I'm not really going to have subtitles. I just really wanted to just talk through some of these plants, because a lot of these plants that I have actually shown y'all from big box stores are plants that I have featured many times in my videos. Like this one right here is a beautiful Pearly von Berg. Echeveria, look at how beautiful that purple is and that pink. And I swear anything that is pink with the plants is awesome. And it actually makes me think about that local plant shop that I featured the other day, Peta's Planters, where they had some beautiful pink planters. Like, I cannot get over it. It is amazing. It is so exciting to see that. And it's just another plant that, you know, plant color and plant that I just really have that aesthetic for. And look at how cool this cactus is right over here. This one is by Element Plants. So Element Plants, Oasis Plants, actually sources out a lot of these succulents to big box stores. And there is a whole world of people who really just love succulents. This one right here, for instance, is another crassula or jade plant. This is the obliqua tricolor, and you notice how they have some of those pink variegation on it. Jade plants remind me of my grandmother, and it's really interesting because a lot of us end up getting into plants because our grandmother grew plants. For some reason, that generation is just very fortunate because they appreciate the simplicity of nature. And I really think a lot of times whenever we have like social media, we're so drawn into like what we see on social media, but we're not always necessarily in the moment. I will say AI can't really produce like plants that we can physically grow. So I'm just glad that we still have plants to really lean into. You know, this year I'll be turning 42, super excited about turning 42. And I've just seen how things have really changed. But the one thing that hasn't changed is for those that have really truly loved plants over decades. I commend you. I salute you. I want to be like you in the sense that you really are just growing plants because of the love for plants. You know, during the pandemic, there were a lot of people that are collecting plants just because of the monetary value. And, that's kind of sad because when we start to put pricing on specific, items like such as plants, then it becomes more of a monetary status versus just growing it because it's just beautiful or it brings us joy. And that's the reason why a lot of plants have shot up in prices, especially during the pandemic. I am glad that some plant pricing has started to really taper back and it's become more affordable. But let me get off of that rant. And that's the thing about my plant shopping videos. For those that are new, plant foliage, you already know I will give you my insights about what I think about plants or just my life in general. I like to utilize my plant shopping videos as almost like a daily blog for you guys to get to know me. I feel like it's really exciting that you guys always invest your time at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to chat with me, chat with each other. And don't worry, I will be working on getting a Facebook page for our Grow Folds Plant Folding community soon. Whenever I do things or actually get myself into a project, I want to make sure that I have all the resources and have done my research to do it right. And that's the thing, whenever I committed to actually doing plant shopping videos, I wanted to be consistent. And I know that it's almost an undertaking to do 1 hour plant shopping videos, but now with like YouTube and even TikTok and Instagram, a lot of the content out there is short form, and I appreciate short form, but I come from a generation where you know, we like to see longer form content, you know, that attention span of just really taking in the moment, taking your time, not being in a rush. That's the kind of content I like to provide, and that's the content I will continue to provide as best as I can. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging, you know, it takes about 5 hours to really produce a video from film to edit to upload to premiering. So you'll have to forgive me if I can't get a video up 1 or 2 days in a row, but I am going to try my best. But through all of that rambling that I've just done about plants, beautiful succulents, I hope you guys like that. And then you can see here, Costa Farms tends to send like a shipper full of like exotic angel starter planters. So oftentimes you'll see these typical plants right here. This one right here is an Epipremnum aureum golden pothos, for instance. This one is for $5.48, I believe. This is actually a pretty big size golden pothos. It's not as variegated, it's more green, so I would consider this more of like a jade pothos. It does like bright indirect light, but can tolerate lower light conditions. Here is a beautiful Fittonia. I am surprised I don't have Fittonias. This is a pink angel Fittonia. I literally see a Fittonia every single day, and the fact that it's a pink plant that I have not picked up yet is surprising. But I know why I haven't gotten a Fittonia, and that is because Fittonias like to be on the wetter side. So you need to make sure that their soil stays moist. They prefer higher humidity. And then this is a purple passion plant. So I actually bought a purple passion plant. It's still doing very well for me. I underwatered it a little bit, but it survived my underwatering negligence, and I'm such a bad plant parent for that. But one of my plant foldies messaged me and let me know that I shouldn't have to buy one because they actually can take full sun. I did not know that, and produces flowers that you can collect seeds from. So I am definitely going to do that. And then over here is a red and Fittonia. Another beautiful Fittonia, and what I like about Fittonias is that they have that beautiful red veining. Sometimes I just really appreciate the plant for like one particular characteristic, whether it's the color, the texture, like this Polyamolus right here, or the Moon Valley Friendship plant. The actual term is the Polyamolus, but I like that texture, for instance. It's really interesting, or just a particular color, a particular stem. So plant foldies, I'm asking if you guys have specific things that you enjoy about a specific plant. Like, what characteristics do you like about plants? I really would love for you guys to leave that in the comment section. It's really important for me to really interact with y'all, and that's one way you can support me as well, is by leaving comments after a live premiere, or if you didn't make the premiere and you're just watching this video till the very end, please leave comments, or you can even leave comments live time where you can do timestamps. The more comments, the happier I'm going to be, the more interactions I can do, and it's just a fun time for me. Right over here is a Dieffenbachia Amy. What an interesting looking Dieffenbachia. It's almost white, highly variegated. It is a plant that I would buy, but I already know with Dieffenbachia, they're just a little bit more of a challenging plant, and it's a plant that I just don't necessarily have the care tips for, or at least the time to invest in its care. Here is a Syngonium Maria. Love Syngonium. Syngoniums will always be my #1 plant, even though I may not be as into them as I am with like aglaonemas. Truthfully, the #1 plant I have is not really even considered an indoor tropical plant, and that is a Coleus plant. But there are just certain plants that will cycle their way. I will say the Syngonium is always going to be my classic #1. And over here, we've got a Pia tree plant, or a Fatsia. So this is actually a cross between a Hydra helix and a Japanese Aurelia, or a Fatsia japonica. And that is the actual hybrid. So it's really cool that they actually have a hybrid of it. They have a variegated form as well, and that's super cool. That one, it grows up, so it's more of like a tree form. And then Dracaena marginata. So this one actually is a tricolor. It's called bicolor, but I really like that as well. Beautiful plant. It's a low light tolerant plant. It's an easy to care for plant. It's a plant that is underrated. It is a plant that everybody needs to add in their collection. And then they have right over here some parlor palms. I like looking at palms at a big box store, but I don't like to add them in my home because they do require a lot of light, unless you have those so there's some varieties that can tolerate lower light conditions, but parlor palm is one that needs bright light. Now we're going to be walking into the indoor section of this Walmart. So this Walmart at the very beginning of the season actually had a bunch of plants that were not taken care of very well, and then they ended up getting a bunch of pallets and actually had some beautiful full plants. I remember finding some beautiful philodendron golden crocodile. I found some philodendron tortums here, and now I am finding a beautiful spider plant Bonnie. Look at this. This is so cute. I almost want to buy it. I don't know, Plantfully, should I buy this spider plant? I love the crinkly curls of this particular spider plant, and the babies would also look crinkly as well. This one is for $19.84 by Costa Farm. So I love hanging baskets. I just don't have as many in my home. I wish I actually had, if I had to go pick, you know, my home that I have, I wish I just had higher ceilings. That would just really make the space a little bit bigger, because my home, especially my living room, is a full jungle, and I've talked about doing a plant shopping, or not a plant shop, a house plant tour. I have yet to do that. I'm still a little bit shy about showing my home to y'all, but it is going to be there at some point. I think I'll do an outdoor Coleus tour first before I do that. But you can see here another beautiful hanging basket of a Fittonia. Love pink plants for the win. And you know, going to Walmart, I will say you end up saving some money when it comes to buying indoor plants or just outdoor plants. They are usually cost effective. It is a plant that you know, all of these plants right here are a pretty good size plant, and for the most part, if you ever go to a Walmart, you really want to catch them when they've actually just stocked up the plants. That is when the plants are most healthy. So a lot of the plants here, I've already visited this Walmart a couple days back, and it's pretty much the same plants, and I'm noticing that some of the plants unfortunately are declining in their health. I don't blame the actual store. You know, whenever you think about a big box store, your expectations have to be managed, because it is not a full-blown plant shop, so they don't have staff that are like fully versed in plant care, and you know, it's not always the top priority. Over here is another Polea mollis plant. Love that as well. This is a plant that does require a little bit more humidity. Polea plants in general, you want to make sure that you are keeping the watering, like keeping their soil moist. So they need to be a little bit more watered frequently. You never really want them to dry out. And then this is another plant right here that it's a love or hate. That is a croton plant. I believe this is the Luna croton. So they've got different types of names for these crotons, but for the most part, crotons, care tips is they require a lot of light. So I'm actually growing my croton in full sun outside, and it's doing very well. And then we also have this right here. This is a Tradescanthia burgundy. I like this Tradescanthia, but the only problem I would say with Tradescanthia is if you do not trim them back, they will get leggy very quickly. On the flip side, where the positive is that you can propagate those cuttings very easily. And then this is another croton plant. I actually like the Bush on Fire croton plant. There is something about the colors, and sometimes you'll see it where they've got yellow on the tips, red, and then orange and black. I love the black dark foliage, so this gives it more of like almost like a gothic vibe about it. And I did see an Instagram account where it was just gothic plants or gothic garden, where everything was either purple, black, or some type of chocolate color, and I really like the look of that as well. And then you can see right here another beautiful plant. This is just a black rabbit's foot fern. Honestly, I might end up just getting a black rabbit's foot fern. People have said that it's actually an easy to care for fern. I'm just worried that I'm not going to water it and it's just going to die. And then over here, syngonium, berry illusion. Syngonium, again, it's another beautiful plant. I will say those syngoniums are not tolerant to being underwatered, so you want to make sure that you stay on top of the watering. I have quickly learned that just because I have neglected some of my beautiful syngoniums, and they have kind of like reduced in their health. I am nursing them back. I am such a bad plant parent when it comes to that. And then here is a Polea Dark Galaxy. Beautiful plant again. And then all of these exotic angel starter plants are for $4.97. And I have found myself tempted to just buy so many varieties of them, like maybe just doing a full haul. But again, it comes back to, do I have the time to take care of the plants? Some of the plants I've already included have just really taken a toll because I haven't stayed on top of the plants. I think it's just more about prioritizing and then just not getting lazy. I'm the type of person where whenever I see a plant starting to decline in health, or several plants have been infested with a pest, I get really discouraged and I give up, and then it just gets worse. So I just really have to like get up, do what I need to do to make sure to take care of my plants, stay on top of the pest control, stay on top of the watering, and I should be good to go. But as you can see right here, beautiful exotic angel plants. The Prosper Walmart, I'll give it to them. They have a small section, but they still stay full. I'm hoping that they will get a restock soon. And you can see here another croton plant. What I will say about croton plants is they're really, it's kind of like the Hydra helix or the English ivy, where they're marketed for a specific place where it's like they're indoor plants, but they're really not. So certain plants really need to be outside in order for them to really grow. And when I was talking to somebody that worked at a nursery, they said that whenever you bring a plant, and the reason why they're more susceptible is because their health is a little bit more compromised. They're not as healthy, which means that the pests are just more willing to attack the plant. And you can see here, purple waffle plant, beautiful plant as well. Mine is actually doing fairly decent considering I have like let it go bone dry, and then it was almost dying, and then I watered it, and then it came back. And then over here, Rex begonias, beautiful Rex begonias. I love Rex begonias because of the metallic shine on them. And I've noticed that some Rex begonias can really size up in size. And then you can see over here, this is another Rex begonia. Cool looking one. I love the gray foliage, and just the shape of the leaves are super cool. Now with Rex begonias, you want to make sure that you are not getting the leaves wet and the stems wet. It's kind of similar to African violets, where you want to actually bottom water your Rex begonias. Now the cool thing about Rex begonias is you can propagate them using their leaf, and that's something that I haven't tried. I've seen some YouTubers actually demonstrate it, and that's really cool. This is a plant that I want to love me back. I love this plant. And you'll notice that every single plant shopping video, I will always show you a snow white waffle plant, because look at how beautiful the leaves are. It has all the variegation I want. I love the pink undertones, the purple undertones, the cream, the white variegation, and even that subtle pink veining on the leaves. It's super cool. So bromeliads, some people are not into bromeliads. I haven't really been into bromeliads, although these are only for $14.97. They can give you a lot of color. I would say bromeliads and chrysanthemums are plants that not a lot of people really take interest in, but they have some cool coloration. I got one bromeliad on sale for $2.47 at Kroger, and that's the thing. You've got to do your plant shopping and really compare your plant pricing. So if you are a local plant foldie or somebody that lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I highly suggest at least subscribing to my channel with notifications. I stay consistent with just shopping at many big box stores and local plant nurseries, and I can at least give you the plant pricing as well as what new plants are being flooded into the Dallas-Fort Worth market. Love that begonia maculata, by the way. And then over here, we've got a ZZ plant, just a green ZZ plant. I love ZZ plants. They are a plant that I used to not really be interested in until I started seeing how easy their care is. I have 3 ZZ plants. I have the Raven ZZ plant, I've got the Chameleon ZZ plant, and then I've just got a regular ZZ plant. All of them are growing very well for me. And then over here is an Epipremnum global green pothos. Love the global green pothos right here. It is another pothos that is one of my favorites. Honestly, pothos are very difficult to pick just one favorite. If I had to pick a favorite, it would really be a toss-up of like a highly variegated Manjula potho, an Enjoy potho, or a global green. It's really a tough pick. But then again, I also like a Snow Queen pothos or the Marble Queen. Either way, pothos in general, or Epipremnum aureum, you must have that in your plant collection. You must buy at Plant Foldies because it is an easy plant. I will do a demonstration on how to take cuttings from a pothos plant and then show you just the growth updates. I had a plant, like a pothos plant, that actually got leggy, and I ended up like propagating a bunch of cuttings, and now it's super full. This is another Rex begonia I think is really cool. Those, look at that green. When I saw that at another local plant nursery where it was super full, and I was really tempted to buy that. So I might end up getting some begonia plants. It's one of those things again where, you know, you have so many interests, but you have to have like the time for it. For me, it's not about the space. I actually have enough space for my plant shopping to accommodate the plants. It's just really the time to invest in them, because for every plant you get, every plant has a different watering schedule, different care needs, different pest control needs. And then over here, we got another bush on fire croton. I might actually buy a bush on fire croton though, as a matter of fact, just because I like that dark foliage. It's super interesting. I love it a lot. And here is another Fittonia right here. I love this Fittonia. This is just like a white stripes Fittonia. And all of the plants I picked up so far are for $4.97. Plant foldies, let me know what exotic angel Costa farm plants you've actually bought. What do you have on your wish list? What plants do you like? Again, I'm really just trying to garner a little bit more engagement in the comments section. I know that most of us will chat during the live premiere chats, but even on the comments section, I would really love some more comments as well. If you want to support me, that is one way to support me, as well as if you have made it this far into the video and have not hit the like button, please hit the like button. When somebody hits the like button, which is a simple task to do on YouTube, it pushes, YouTube will push the plant foldy community videos to more plant lovers like yourself and me. And who doesn't want to have more friends joining our live premiere chats? This Especia plant, I think that's how you pronounce it, is a beautiful plant. Look at that. They look almost like African violets, I think they're care, but I didn't realize that they had such beautiful pink blooms. So that is another plant I will definitely add to my collection once I get my stuff together in terms of just getting, you know, just basically watering my plants. Like, I think I should just take an entire day where I'm not filming plants or potting up plants or propagating plants and literally just watering my plants, spraying them with the plant foldy mist spray that I make to kill like pests, and hopefully I can get that to recover. Here is a large foliage type of a Fittonia plant. This is Stripes Forever hanging basket. Love this because typically Fittonias do not get this large. So this is what you would consider a giant one. Love that a lot. Love the foliage. It's another plant that I would love to have. I have a pink wave Fittonia, I think, a hanging basket that I bought that's growing outdoors, just because it's easier for me to water it. Like, literally I'll take my hose and hose down the plants and they are good to go. I even have a lot of my tropical plants growing, like my philodendron Florida Beauty that I really neglected and got leggy. It's now pushing out new growth. I'm actually going to chop it up and propagate it and even do wet stick propagation. And for those that don't know what wet stick propagation is, it's basically taking cuttings where there's not an actual leaf on it. It may take a little bit longer to grow, but you can still propagate. And then here is a Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf tree for $14.97 by Costa Farms. This is Plants with Benefits, which is basically the name brand of Walmart, but these are Costa Farms plants. And wow! Didn't expect this, but this is an Epipremnum aureum Marble Queen Pothos. Oh my goodness. This is actually the most full Marble Queen Pothos hanging basket I have seen in a long time. And check out the variegation plant foldies. Like, you cannot beat this. Should I buy this plant? Like, I didn't even expect to find something like this, but should I buy this plant? Please leave that in the comments. If, you know, at that moment I should have bought this plant or should buy this plant or will buy this plant. This is a beautiful Epipremnum Marble Queen Pothos. Love this. Look at that variegation. And also it's pretty, you know, even. I'm going to cut back. If I were to buy this, I will cut back more of the green stems or whatever, so I can promote more of the variegation. Now with Marble Queen Pothos, it is a plant that will revert, unfortunately, if you don't give it enough light. I mean, it will still have some variegation, but it won't maintain that. That is a beautiful Marble Queen Pothos. It's definitely not a Snow Queen Pothos. Snow Queen would definitely be more white in its variegation. This has more cream in its variegation, but needless to say, what a beautiful plant. And it is another plant that if you grow that on a totem, you will get some large size leaves. Over here we have some gorgeous Philodendron Pink Princess. Love the Philodendron Pink Princess. Absolutely stunning plant. This one is for $24.47 by Growers Bench. I was able to find a Walmart though that clearanced them out for $5. I've actually seen that particular Walmart, which is off of Custer Road in North McKinney, Texas. If you're interested in a local that will clearance them out. So I am a little bit more just cautious about whether I'm going to buy a Philodendron Pink Princess at this point for a full price, because I was able to get some on clearance for $5. And for my plant foldies, if you guys do have Instagram, please make sure you are following me. I will be doing some more plant giveaways. The Monstera Thai Constellation plant giveaway, I will announce the winner this Saturday. May 18th at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time via Instagram story. So if you haven't already and you have an Instagram and want a chance to win, just make sure you follow the reel that has a plant. Follow my Instagram first and then actually like the reel that has the plant giveaway. Tag a minimum of 3 friends. Any additional tags after the 3 friends to that reel will be another entry to the drawing. And then over here, this is another beautiful spider bonnie plant. So it's really cool that one of my plant folies asked to see some more spider plants, and I am definitely showing you guys some more. This is such a cool looking plant. Look at how it's got a lot of babies already ready to go. Love that. And you know, this is a plant that if you bought it, you can propagate many of its babies and have more free plants to get. And I don't know if I should buy it, but that Marble Queen Pothos has me just thinking about how you can go to a plant shop and you'll be surprised about some of the plant finds. Like you might just see these regular plants that you see often, and then that's that one time where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I went to, you know, this particular store because they had these available. That's really why I've lucked out with some of the plants that I've found, because some plants like that I found I just didn't expect. I remember finding a Monstera siltepecana in a hanging basket at Lowe's, and I didn't really expect to find that, but when I did, I was over the moon. Here's another Dracaena right here, lemon lime. It's about to fall out of its pot. I hope somebody will buy it. And then here is another Dracaena Janet Craig compacta. This is for $9.97. Another underrated plant, another plant that I would say please buy because it is an easy to care for plant. It is a plant that you will not kill. It's a plant that you will not kill definitely if you don't water it, because it can tolerate not being watered as often. And then you can see that this Walmart right here just has a bunch of plants mixed up. Again, certain Walmarts, they'll have their plants merchandised a little bit better. Like the Rockwall, Texas Walmart definitely had it on point. Like everything was organized and neat. And sometimes I feel like if these plants were just organized a little bit better, more people would be more inspired to pick up plants and buy them. But you know, I can't really be super picky in the fact that I'm just glad that they actually have plants for sale. And then over here, we've got some more of these creeping fig plants, these hanging baskets, and this one looks to have a lot of new growth. That's the thing about plant shopping. Whenever you are going to a plant shop or shopping for plants, be sure to not only inspect for pests, so check the soil, check the undersides of the leaves, the top of the leaves, if there's any dead growth, but more importantly, if you find a plant that has roots popping out of the drainage hole, that's a good sign. And also new growth, like new leaves about to unfurl, that's also a good sign, because then the plant has been established in its growing condition in that pot, and it's a pretty healthy looking plant. Aglaonema red siam, you already know I have to show you an Aglaonema red siam. This isn't going to be a grow folds video unless I show you an Aglaonema red siam, if I don't talk about my obsession with Coleus plants, and if I don't say Hydra helix. Those are the 3 elements of a grow folds video. So I just have to like entertain myself with that. So for my original plant foldies that have continued to follow my journey, I appreciate you so much for just tuning in. To those that are new to my channel, welcome to the plant foldy community. I hope that you will continue to go visit my YouTube channel, as I will do plant shopping videos daily, hopefully 1-hour plant shopping videos. But guys, take a look at this plant foldies. Look at how beautiful this Marble Queen Pothos is. And you know what? I decided that I definitely need to take this home, buy this, and actually put this in my collection of pothos plants. I just think that it needed to go home. It's too beautiful of a hanging basket to leave at a big box store. Anyways, plant foldies, I hope you enjoyed this plant shopping video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. All I want is some tender love from you. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's off of Highway 121 in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel with the notification bell on for daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. So my plant foldies, and if you are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. I just wanted to show you guys this particular Lowe's just to see if they have any restocks. So you can see that I'm going to take a little bit of time outside of the actual outdoor section to show you some of these plants. Over here, we've got some lemon tree plants for $24.98. We have a bunch of assorted ones. So I actually don't have a lot of citrus plants. I only have one variegated lemon tree growing in a container. I've had it for about 2 years. And here we've got a papaya tree, which I find interesting, where my family is from, and that is the Philippines. Papaya plants, papaya trees are just everywhere. They are just wildly growing all over. But you can see they've got some papaya trees right here. Now, you already know, if you are out in the North Dallas area, papaya trees are not able to grow year round. They will definitely die because of this, the cold winters we get. So it just really depends. I would just say that if you're going to grow a papaya tree or some type of tropical plant, you're going to have to prepare to overwinter it and really not grow it out in the landscape. It's going to have to grow out in a container. But you can see most Lowe's have a lot of plants out in the outdoor section, outside of the outdoor section. And you can see we've got a bunch of hanging baskets right over here. So lantana, I really like lantana. So lantana are drought resistant flowering plants that you can grow out in full sun, which is what I need. My grow zone is 8B, and with really hot summers, 100 plus degree summers, I need types of plants that can tolerate droughts and just extreme heat. And I would say these beautiful lantanas right here for $8.98. Look at how beautiful the flowers are. What I also like about lantana is that it's a very vigorous grower. So if you put one of these starters in the ground, give it just about a month and it will really double its size. I like the fact that lantana also are perennials, at least in my grow zone. So once you put it down, you don't have to worry about having to replant it year after year. Perennials will come back year after year. And with these beautiful lantanas, they just add a touch of color in any type of landscape. They are a low maintenance plant, and so that's one reason why I'm taking a little bit of time to show you some lantana. They come in for different types of colors. So plant foldies, let me know if you've actually grown lantana in your landscape and how that's working out for you. See right here, these lantana are for $5.98. I like the white blooms on this particular lantana as well. So plant foldies, I think that you should get lantanas if you haven't grown any lantanas in your garden. Obviously, a lot of you guys go to the plant shopping videos to watch the indoor tropical content, but I have been featuring a lot of these outdoor plants because it is springtime. I say this in every single video, and I just really feel like my interest with outdoor plants as well is one that I wanted to share with y'all. And then right over here, we've got some firebush lime sizzler plants. So I remember seeing this out at HEB, which is a grocery store out in Texas. And I really like the look of this particular bush just because look at how electrifying this yellow, the yellow leaf is on these fire bushes. I actually am thinking about possibly trying to grow this indoors, but I'm not 100% sure if that is really going to be something that I could do long term. I do want to eventually buy this and put it in my landscape just because it's got a beautiful leaf color on it. And then you can see here more hanging baskets. It is a cloudy day today when I'm filming this, but you can see that there is a sale going on, 2 for $20. So originally these Vinca baskets were for $12.97, but you can get 2 for $20. So that is not a bad price at all. Now with hanging baskets, I've said this in other videos, you want to make sure that you are fertilizing the hanging basket plants on a consistent basis, just because a lot of the nutrients will get washed away since it is in a hanging basket. Also, hanging baskets need to be watered a little bit more frequently just because there's just less soil space. And, you know, as much as we like hanging baskets, those are the things that you want to make sure you consider. Hanging baskets definitely lose their nutrients, and you want to make sure that you are a little bit more frequent in their watering. And you can see right over here some potato vines. Really like the look of these potato vines. Look at how it's got that chocolate brown and caramel colors as the new leaves unfurl. These potato vines are very vigorous. They need to be out in full sun in order for them to really thrive, and they're easy to propagate as well. You can really take cuttings and then stick it in water and they will root very quickly within about a week and a half. And then over here we've got some impatient flowers in a huge container. Those are for $39.97. And then we've got a bunch of roses here. So these roses are actually the smaller miniature type roses. They're not the big ones, but you know, all roses require full sun in order for them to really thrive. And we've got a bunch of these mandevilla flowers. So mandevilla flowers are everywhere. You go to any big box stores and you will see mandevilla flowers. And then they have these island tropical blooms that Costa Farms has been featuring. And then we have some foxglove flowers right here, and I really like the look of this foxglove flower. It gets massive and it just takes a lot of space as well, but if you want some massive like foliage and then big blooms, foxglove is a plant you can put in your landscape. And then we have a bunch of elephant ear or alocasia right here. These are the Alocasia californias. Really like the look of this plant as well. Even though it's just a green variety, it is one that will take up a really good amount of your space in your landscape. So if you want a statement piece, you could definitely add an alocasia. And then over here, we've got some Croton petras right here. Look at how black the leaves are on these Croton petras. Really cool looking Croton petra. I like that a lot. And it's one that I guess is another plant that you would have to just grow outdoors. A lot of people don't really like crotons because they are finicky plants. I totally get it. But if you grow them outdoors, they tend to be a little bit easier to grow, especially in full sun. Now, indoors, crotons definitely need a lot of light. So if you want to grow under a grow light or in front of like a south-facing window, that's what I would suggest if you have a croton. But as you can see, Plant Foldies, super full outdoor section, and I haven't even gone into the outdoor-indoor part of this building. You can see we've got some beautiful roses here. I am really thinking about getting another rose bush, but you know, with roses, they are a little bit susceptible to like pests like aphids and even diseases. So you just got to make sure that roses, if you're going to plant a bunch, that they are spread out pretty evenly and they have enough space where there's like air that can flow through their branches, because if you have them too close like this, long term they will get that yellow fungus disease. That's really what happened to my variegated rose garden a couple years back. I just couldn't keep up with the disease and maintenance. So another thing about roses is you want to make sure that you're not keeping the leaves wet. You want to actually water from the base versus watering the leaves and the blooms. Now, everybody who has been watching my videos for the last month knows that I have a Coleus obsession. This is a trailing Coleus. So this is a Coleus that definitely is more widespreading. It doesn't really grow up. It actually just spreads and trails down. So really cool looking Coleus. This one's actually in bloom as well, with some more trailing plants like this potato vine right over here. I do like the combination. That is a proven winner's hanging basket. And as I pan over here, we've got a plethora of mandevilla flowers. So mandevilla flowers, I don't have any growing in my home, but I would say mandevilla flowers, just like any tropical plant, really likes full sun if it's going to be grown outside, which is where it really needs to be growing outside. I don't think you can really grow mandevilla flowers indoors. And then we've got a bunch of vinca flowers here, and I like vinca flowers just like the lantana. Vinca flowers look similar to impatient flowers, but they can take full sun and are drought tolerant. And as we walk over here, I'm just going to pan over and show you how full this Lowe's is. You know, the other day I showed a video of a super full, beautiful Walmart, and that's the thing about some of these big box stores. Not all big box stores are created equal, but I would say for most Lowe's, their outdoor garden section and their indoor plants are typically full, and they've got a lot of healthy looking plants. Like you can see right over here, we've got a beautiful alocasia. But I just like going either late afternoon, early evening to go plant shopping, because there's not as many people walking around. And that's the thing about plant shopping. Whenever I do these videos, I try not to get people in the videos, just to respect people's privacy. And then you can see here, $17.98, we've got a banana plant right here. Look at that. And with banana plants, again, they need full sun to really be able to thrive. That can grow in a container, or depending on your growing zone, you can put them out in your landscape. For North Dallas, that wouldn't really be the case, because they would end up dying in the winter, and they're not really a perennial, or at least for what I've seen so far. And as you can see here, just lots of beautiful plants to look at. I like this Lowe's particularly just because it does stay pretty stocked. So So plant foldies, let me know about your big box stores, what plants you've been buying, if you buy croton plants, because for some reason, I love looking at croton plants and growing them as well, even though they are a finicky plant. Like right over here is a common croton petra, but notice the leaves right here. Beautiful variegation. They need a lot of light, and actually light really influences the variegation of a croton plant. Now, croton plants are moderate growers. They don't grow as quickly, but they can become really large trees. This one is by Costa Farms for $19.98. So you can get some really good sized croton plants. Sometimes you can just get them in a small form, like and they're marketed as an indoor plant, but I really think they need to just be grown outdoors to really have them thrive and actually grow large sizes and get beautiful coloration on their leaves. And here is another type of croton right here. This is a croton mame, so it's got more of the curling, narrow leaves over here. I also like the look of this particular croton. I have one croton growing out in my outdoor landscape. It is actually summer facing as well, so I really like that as well. But take a look at this croton mame. So let me know actually in the comment section, plant foldies, if you grow crotons. I would suggest growing crotons, but I've said this multiple times, but we really want to grow crotons outdoors. They just do better outdoors. Obviously for me, I would have to overwinter my croton. And the thing about growing a croton indoors, it is a finicky plant. Like you would have to find a consistent place to put it, and it needs to have like full like highlight is what I mean. Like you would have to grow it under a grow light for it to really grow well indoors, unless you have some really good lighting in your home. And then over here, we've got a bunch of roses. So these are knockout roses. So if you're going to pick a rose bush to grow, I would suggest growing a knockout rose, just because knockout roses are hybridized roses that are also very profuse bloomers. So they bloom a little bit more frequently than most rose bushes, and they are disease tolerant, pest tolerant. So it's just got it's just a stronger type of rose bush, even though it's just got like the red varieties and the pink varieties. I think if you want a consistent bloom, I would suggest a knockout rose. Typically, knockout roses are very cost effective. They're in the $20 range for these types of bushes. And I remember growing knockout roses, and they were probably the best performers in terms of the blooms that they produced. And over here, we've got a bunch of encore azaleas. So these encore azaleas are not in bloom, but what I love about encore azaleas is, again, they rebloom at least 3 times a year. They come in different varieties of colors and also sizes. So they've got dwarf varieties, they've got large varieties. I love azaleas in general, but encore azaleas are definitely a reblooming azalea because most azaleas only bloom in the spring. Like a lot of the majority of Satsuki azaleas, which I love as well, will only bloom in the spring. But encore azaleas have been hybridized to where they can at least bloom in the summer, spring, and fall seasons. They are an evergreen azalea. So if you're ever going to grow an azalea, though, they require a lot of water, at least the first year when you plant them in the ground. If you let them get too thirsty and not water them, they eventually just die off. It's really hard for them to really recover once you've done that. So I have had issues with growing azaleas just because sometimes I'm not very good about the watering portion. So as a plant parent, for me, I have to go find plants that really fit my lifestyle. And I've talked about this a lot of my videos, and whenever we go plant shopping, we're very tempted to buy beautiful plants. You know, we want to just collect every single plant that we come across, but the problem is, as beautiful as that plant is, you have to really look at your time that you have to invest in the plant care. Plants don't just grow, you have to put a lot of care into it. I read in the comments section, one of my plant foldies, Alfred from Canada, shout out to you for always being on the live premiere chats, Alfred. I didn't realize that you took 2 hours to water all of your plants. I think it was your workspace plants, and that takes a lot of time and dedication, and I commend you for that. But with plants, it is about the amount of plants that we actually have. I have pretty much started hoarding plants because I just couldn't help it. You know, when you go big box store plant shopping and you are looking at plants literally every single day, that's the only reason why I've been able to give you guys daily 1-hour plant shopping content. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I've realized, you know, some of y'all have realized that you have been watching my videos but haven't subscribed. Please do that. But to go back to what I was talking about, plants require a lot of care. So like I can offer plant care tips. I need to listen to my plant care tips, and that's really having that consistency in the watering, and also looking at pest control. Like you want to examine your plants, see under the leaves if they have some plants. Like I was at that Walmart and I looked at this beautiful alocasia. Notice how this alocasia, when looking at the surface, doesn't have spider mites, but the one that I saw at Walmart, as beautiful as the plants looked and as healthy as they look, they had spider mites. So even pests can also get into your space if you're not careful about what plants you are buying at a big box store. And also once they get to your home, pests are inevitable. No matter how much pest control you do, it's part of plant keeping, so you just want to stay on top of it. So if you find pests on your plants, as long as you can get to it before it becomes a full infestation, then it'll be fine. But that goes back to plant care. If you don't stay on top of that and you don't have the time that you invest, it becomes a little bit of a very frustrating type of hobby. I know that I have gotten a little bit stressed just because I have felt like I haven't had enough time to take care of my plants. I have caught up, and so that's the reason why I have tried to like limit the amount of plants I'm adding. It doesn't really help though, because I talk about propagating my Coleus plants. So like I ended up taking 30 more cuttings, and I'm gonna actually pot them up in some soil, or just put them in direct soil to propagate them. But you know, I don't plan to keep all of those propagations. But anyways, I know that I'm rambling a little bit. You can see that we have a bunch of these succulents. So my plant foldy from Canada, Kathy, I'm going to try to show you guys a little bit more cactus and succulents, which brings me to another point. If there are specific plants that you want me to feature in my future videos, please leave that in the comments. I know that I mentioned that I really want to see some more comments in the comment section. I love engagement. I will respond to any kind of comments that you have. Hopefully they stay positive, but it does really help with the channel's growth as well as hitting the like button on the video. I know that some of y'all will go to the live premiere chats and we'll have like 70 people watching live, but maybe only have 20 likes. If you can, at least I'm asking if you can help me out here by hitting the like button. It really helps push the videos to more people that may not have discovered the channel. Right now we are at 9,450 subscribers, and I want to say thank you for always tuning in at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to really engage with me during the live premiere chats. But when you hit that like button, it does get pushed to more plant lovers like yourself, so we can actually grow the plant folding community on Girl Folds. And then over here, we've got a bunch of beautiful hanging baskets of the neon potato vines. Look at that. They can take full sun and they grow very quickly. Actually, I've grown potato vines before. And then we've got some Lysimachia Waikiki Sunset. So this is another ground type cover plant that I am considering growing in a container and possibly growing as a trailing plant indoors. Look at that beautiful green on green variegation, that yellow color, and you can see that this has some beautiful variegation as well. I believe this one needs to take full sun, so that'll make it a little bit more challenging to grow indoors. But you can see that this plant also has yellow blooms. I'm going to try to find one that has yellow blooms. Really nice looking plant. I love that variegation. I would assume that this would be an easy plant to propagate in water as well. It looks like most ground cover plants are easy to propagate in water, but look at how beautiful this is. This is also by Proven Winners, and you can see that it does bloom. I found one that has some flowers. This one doesn't. But look at that variegation. So let me know in the comments if you've actually grown this particular plant, if you've grown ground cover as as indoor plants. I feel like they would be a fun plant to grow indoors as well. You can see that it's got some blooms right over here. As I walk by here, look at this beautiful trailing potato vine here. I love the look of potato vines. They almost remind me of a Hydra helix, or the correct way to say it is a Hedera helix, English ivy. Now that one is not a finicky plant at all. As long as you give it full sun and water it frequently, it will just spread. And that's the thing about potato vines. It is an invasive plant, so you don't want to plant that in the ground unless it's in a flower bed. Otherwise, it will literally take over your lawn. So just make sure you have a little bit of caution when it comes to that. And then look at here is another potato vine. This one has a really cool leaf shape. I like the dark foliage as well. It almost reminds me of like a Japanese maple. This is for $4.98. I really like the look of this plant as well, and it does take full sun. So just remember that if you are going to grow a potato vine, it's not going to do very well in like shaded areas. They really like full sun, and even the variegated form like here. And I'm going to just show you a little bit closer. Look at how beautiful that pink coloration and variegation on this potato vine is. I actually ended up buying one of these right here. So I remember visiting this particular Lowe's and got inspired to just buy a bunch of pink plants. I love pink plants. I have been doing a lot of features of pink plants. If you haven't already, check out my Instagram account at Growfolds. I've been doing a lot of reels where I'm featuring pink plants, but look at how beautiful that variegation is. This is for $4.98. I'm actually growing this in a container, and I'm probably gonna try to grow this long-term indoors. We'll see. The problem when you're growing potato vines indoors is they are very susceptible to spider mites. And then you can see here we've got a bunch of dark foliage dahlias. Love the dahlias. I'm going to grow those next year. And then we have some rodeo oyster plants. So I love the look of this plant as well. And this plant can get a decent size when grown in a container. Some people will grow this in their landscapes, but I'm growing this as an indoor plant. It is growing in full sun for me just because I want to get that beautiful pink variegation. The more light you give it, the better the variegation is going to look. Like, look at right here. It's got some beautiful pink variegation, and it's just another plant that for $4.98, I didn't mind spending that money because I just love pink plants, and even the purple undersides is really nice. And notice how this one isn't as pink variegated. So this is a plant that may not have gotten a lot of light, and I've talked about this in almost all my videos, but certain plants variegation and colors are really influenced by either the original genetics of the plant or more so the lighting conditions it's in. The more light you give a plant, or a bright indirect light, the better coloration and variegation you will get for the most part. Now, certain plants like the philodendron pink princess, no matter how much light you give it, if it doesn't have that good genetics to begin with, then it's not really going to have that best variegation. And then over here, we've got some Tradescanthia burgundy. So these are grown either as ground cover or hanging baskets. The only thing about the Tradescanthia is it can get leggy, so make sure you are cutting it back and just repropagating some of the cuttings. And then right over here, we've got some fuchsia plants for $9.98. I love that bloom. It's a really cute looking plant, and this plant can actually get very large, so you can grow this in a hanging basket, or you can just grow this in a container. But it's a beautiful plant, and I just love the blooms on it. It's a plant that definitely needs to be more in partial shade and bright light versus full sun. And then we've got Tradescanthia nanuk. So I'm super excited to see that this is actually a readily available Tradescanthia. I would say 3 to 4 years ago, this plant was quite difficult to get. It was actually expensive to get, and now you can get this for $4.98. I have about 3 of these now, and I've actually taken cuttings, so you can notice that this is actually starting to get a little bit leggy. But if you cut it back all the way down to the base, it will get a little bit more full. And right here, variegated boat lily. This is $8.98. I like this one right here. This one is actually pretty variegated. Some of them are just more purple. I love this plant as well because it's an easy to care for plant. It's good ground cover, but I have mine in actually a container, and it's growing very well for me. I'm hoping that I can grow that indoors long term as well. But you can see pink plants that you can find here at the Lowe's. Love that a lot. And then you can see more hanging baskets and just really a lot of plants to pick from. We've got some Hawaiian cordyline tea plants right here. You can grow those in full sun. The more sun you give it, the better coloration it's gonna get. I can't really grow these indoors because they're susceptible to spider mites. And then around the corner, we've got some Japanese Aurelias right here. I am thinking about growing those indoors at some point. They can get very large. I love the leaf shape of the Japanese Aurelia or Fatsia japonica. And you can see over here, look at how beautiful the leaves are on these Fatsia japonicas. I love the large leaves. They almost look like maple leaves. And then we have some more cordyline tea plants right over here. And what else do we have? We have a large container of Kong Coleus. So these Coleus are the large leaf form Coleus plants. Really like that they have these as well. I am almost tempted to buy this one, but you know, I talked about buying just a lot of plants. I think I have this Coleus plant already. Look at how beautiful it is. So Kong Coleus definitely are Coleus that cannot grow out in full sun. There's some Coleus plants that can grow in full sun. Kong Coleus are not one of them. They prefer to be in more of a shaded area. This one is for $19.98. Beautiful plant. It's already in a container. And Coleus plants are really good container plants, as well as caladiums. You can grow caladiums like this in a container. This one is for $7.98, but look at how beautiful that pink color is. I love pink plants. Please leave a like or a comment in the comment section if you like pink plants. I have been searching for pink plants, pink variegation, and caladiums tend to lean itself to like pink plants because look at this one right here. Different leaf shape, but beautiful pink colors. This looks like you know, cotton candy look. That pink is really nice. It's a very elegant and delicate looking plant, but I love caladiums. Now with caladiums, if you're going to try to grow them indoors, just know that there will be a dormant period in the winter unless you can just provide it a lot of light and warm conditions to kind of mimic the summertime. They caladiums really grow best during the summer. That's when they start to sprout from their buds. And caladiums, though, you don't want to overwater them because their bulbs will root rot. But you can see, look at how beautiful and white these leaves are. Caladiums make a good plant to put in a dark space in your outdoor landscape. Like if you want to just lighten up a corner where there's not a lot of sunlight, caladiums are a good plant to put because they prefer to be in shade. They will burn in full sun. And then we've got a bunch of Coleus plants right over here. Notice how Coleus plants differ in the coloration. Like this one is the most highly colored Coleus plant out of all of those Coleus plants right there. And I would say it's because it probably received better lighting conditions or it had better genetics. So I don't know if all of these mass-produced Coleus plants are taken from seed or if they are taken from cuttings. Coleus plants are very easy to propagate. Like literally you could take a small cutting from the very top of the plant, stick it in soil, and about a week later it will root. So it's that easy to propagate. I'm surprised Coleus plants aren't really invasive though. They just are easy to propagate. So that's super cute. And I'm just going to pan over here and show you all of the different types of Coleus plants. I am trying to influence all of our plant foldies and viewers to grow Coleus. I think that there should be more awareness and more interest because how do you not like Coleus plants? Like look at how beautiful they are. They are easy to grow. You can grow them as like a tree form indoors. The propagation process is fun, and since they require a little bit more shade and like lower light conditions, they can be grown indoors. Look at this one. I have this orange one. I actually have all of the Coleus plants from Lowe's. I've pretty much bought all of them, and that's the problem with me. I have a plant addiction, a Coleus obsession, and those two may be a good thing. It may be a bad thing. Right now, they're bringing me a lot of joy because when I look at my Coleus collection on my outdoor patio, it is just massive, and there's just so many beautiful colors. I've talked about doing a Coleus plant tour, so I may end up doing that. Plant foliage, just leave in the comments if you want to see my personal plants like that. But you can see here, there's just so many different types of Coleus plants to pick from. I'm surprised I've never really paid attention to Coleus plants until my grandmother. I found a clip on my grandmother, who is really the source of inspiration for all of my plant obsessions and plant care. She taught me a lot about plants, but she propagated so many Coleus plants. Over here is a really cool creeping Jenny hanging basket. So I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody growing creeping Jenny in an indoor space. This would be better for like an outdoor patio in a shaded area. Really like the look of the neon colors of this particular plant. It's one that I would definitely recommend for anybody that wants like a fast growing plant that trails. And then we've got some holly ferns right over here. Beautiful looking fern. It's got a nice shape. And then they've got a bunch of assorted plants here, but I still can't get over all of these pink plants, plant foliage. Let me know what you think about these plants. And as I walk in, we're going to look at the indoor section. So I've featured this Lowe's often in many videos. And that's the thing, I like to go to these same locations just to see if they get restocks or what type of plants they get. So we'll see if they actually have any new plants, but I'll talk about some of the plants that I run into today. So you can see that all of the Lowe's I visited out in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, are always full. Like, I will give them credit. Like, look at how full all of these plants are. And I'm just gonna walk and pan over and show you all of the plants that they have so far. See right off the bat, look at how beautiful this alocasia poly is right here by Urban Jungle. I believe this is for $22.47. It's a nice healthy looking alocasia. Look at the dark foliage and just the veining of this. Now this particular alocasia for some reason tends to be a little bit more of a spider mite magnet, so you just have to be really cautious about bringing alocasia in your collection. I would say grow it near a humidifier and spray it at least once a week or twice a week with neem oil to really repel spider mites. That's the thing about certain plants. They're just more susceptible to spider mites. It's the same thing with Dieffenbachia. So Dieffenbachia, beautiful variegation. This is a plant though that is a little bit more challenging to grow. I mean, as beautiful and as readily available as it is at a big box store, just know that Dieffenbachia will get very leggy if you don't give it enough high light conditions. It needs a lot of bright indirect light. It also is susceptible to spider mites, so you just have to really stay on top of the care tips for that. And as you can see right here, we've got a bunch of other plants that Urban Jungles, Live Trends offers, as well as Costa Farms. So these are Costa Farms exotic angel hanging baskets. This is for $16.98. This is beautiful home decor, or what I would call a marble queen pothos. Love the look of a marble queen pothos. That variegation is stunning. And if I actually run into a marble queen pothos that has like a really full basket, I may end up getting it just because I like that instant gratification. It's a beautiful variegated plant that I would definitely add to my collection. And then we've got some more beautiful plants right over here. So look at this pink variegation right here. So this is a syngonium plus bromeliad. What an interesting combination. It's growing in sphagnum moss. This is another plant that Lowe's particularly offers. I'm not really a fan of like combination planters for indoor tropical plants, but you know, that might be somebody's niche right here. That's something that you might look at. I like the look of that bromeliad as well. So the color combination is really nice. And then we've got an Epipremnum aureum and joy, one of my favorite pothos as well. I actually found a nice hanging basket for $29.99 at Plants and Planters, which is a local plant nursery out in Richardson, Texas. If you haven't watched that video, please check it out in my older videos. I did a feature of Plants and Planters a couple of days ago. It is another nursery that I will feature more often, and that's the thing. I do a lot of big box store plant shopping videos, but I also want to support local plant nurseries. So if you get a chance, check out the playlist for big box store plant shopping alternatives, where it's just a bunch of local plant nurseries I feature. I also have plant tourism videos where I will go out of town to go film some local plant nurseries in that particular city. And then right over here, philodendron, heteroraceum, lemon lime. Look at this beautiful philodendron, heteroraceum, lemon lime. Love that neon variegation. And again, you have to just give it a lot of bright light for it to really have that yellow coloration. And you can see there's just an overflow of plants at this Lowe's. You can see on this shelf, they've got several varieties of different plants. Now, one plant I still don't have the plant ID for. So plant foldies, if you could get me the plant ID for this particular plant, let me know. But it has beautiful purple undersides on the leaves. This one is for $22.98 by Urban Jungle. It's a plant that I was actually considering getting, but I don't really know a lot about the plant. So that's the thing. As beautiful as the plant is at a local nursery or a big box store, if you are not really keen into the plant care tips, I wouldn't suggest buying the plant. I would do some research first before you bring a plant in. And that's the thing. If you get some value from my plant shopping videos, I really try to give you guys my personal care tips, or at least from my experience, so that way it helps us out. And you can see right over here another zebra plant. So this zebra plant is a little bit more variegated. I don't have zebra plants in my collection. I haven't really had the urge to add a zebra plant, and I'm not 100% sure why. So that's the thing, plant foldies. Have you ever just run into a plant that you see often, you know that, and you recognize that it's a beautiful plant, but it just doesn't interest you? It doesn't like want you to actually take it home and like grow it. That zebra plant is one plant that I just really haven't had any interest. I recognize that it's a beautiful plant, but it's not one that I would add to my collection. I would add a marantha to my collection, but I just know that it does require a little bit more care. It's one plant that does need to be watered a little bit more frequently. And with that being said, I haven't really added that to my collection because it's pretty much like a calathea, and it's a plant that just requires more care that I can't really provide at the moment. And then over here, we've got a hanging basket of some Rex begonia. Look at how beautiful this is. I recognize this hanging basket Rex begonia from a previous visit. I'm glad that it's still here and it's still healthy, but I'm hoping that somebody will buy the plant. It always worries me. I wouldn't even say worries. It just concerns me a little bit that there's certain plants that are so beautiful and healthy when they get to a big box store, but if they don't end up finding a home, they just decline in their health and eventually get tossed in the trash, which is a really sad fate for some of these plants. Because if you look at this domino peace lily, for instance, it's a trending tropical plant, but this one has been here for several months and hasn't sold. I'm glad that it hasn't died yet, and I know that it's an older trending tropical plant because it's still in a ceramic planter. Most trending tropicals, the new varieties, are in self-watering planters, which I have to commend. Costa Farms did an amazing job doing that. And then we have a bunch of like Pachira aquatica or money tree plants here. I love the large versions of these Pachira aquatica, so it looks like Costa Farms has sourced out a lot of these large foliage Pachira aquaticas. I prefer the non-braided forms. Unfortunately, these are the braided forms. Pachira aquatica require bright indirect light. They are pretty fast growers and they can get very large even in an indoor space. So just make sure you are preparing for that type of large plant. All plants will eventually get larger, so when you buy a starter plant, know that you're going to have to plan for the space that it's going to take up. Look at how beautiful this particular fern is. These the texture of the leaves and the veining remind me of fish scales. What a gorgeous looking fern. I would actually add this fern to my collection. I don't know if it's a bird's nest fern, but it is by Live Trends, and it's in a hanging basket for $22.98. I don't have any ferns in my collection just because I feel like ferns need more humidity and they need to be watered more frequently. And those are two elements in my indoor space that I can't necessarily provide on a consistent basis. On my days off, I try to catch up on my plant chores, my plant care tips. And so that's a plant that I don't really have the time to take care of. Right over here, we've got a Balfouriana Aurelia. So for those that have really watched my videos when I first started doing plant shopping videos, if you remember, I found one of those plants and rescued it. It was only for $1. So for those that want to check it out, please look at some of my older shopping videos. I've been doing this close to about 5 months now, and it's really exciting that our community has grown. And I really am thankful that you guys continue to go wait for the live premieres and just interact with me via chat. I haven't always been the best at the chat sessions just because I might be in the middle of filming, but if I'm able to like answer questions or interact with the Plantfoldy community, just know that I will always try to make it to the live premiere chats. If anything, I will pop in and at least say hello, but I do encourage everybody to make friends and just connect with each other. I think that that's what's unique about this YouTube channel, is that we do have an interactive live premiere chat, and that's one that I look forward to. I did mention that I will be going to the Philippines for vacation for about 18 days in late June, so I am a little concerned about how I'm going to be able to get some plant shopping videos for you. What I think I'm going to do is actually compile a bunch of my older videos, like, and maybe do 3 episodes in a 3-hour video, just so we have some content to look at and binge. And also you'll have like 2 to 3 hours of chats that you guys can do. I will also try to hop in on that, and when I go to the Philippines, I will be filming several of the plants that I run into, so don't worry, I will do that. It's just a matter of actually editing them. I don't really want to spend my vacation editing videos, but I may also film a lot of videos to actually premiere before I go on vacation. It is just a little challenging though to do 1-hour shopping videos because the editing process takes a long time, but it is a fun process. It is a process that is part of my daily routine, so don't worry, I will definitely get you guys that content because I am just as excited to provide these shopping videos. And then over here, neon pothos, Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. Love this. This is actually in a self-watering planter. Super healthy pothos. This is for $18.98. It's slightly pricey, but I can understand why it is because it's in a self-watering planter. And also the ceramic planter is beautiful. I prefer to grow plants in more of like a matte finish, very simple planters versus having a bunch of like textures or patterns. It's not really my plant aesthetic. And you can see here just tons and tons of Phalaenopsis orchids. Orchids are readily available anywhere you go, but Phalaenopsis orchids, I swear, are all over Lowe's. Every Lowe's I have visited has Phalaenopsis orchids. This is one of my favorite trailing plants. This is a strawberry begonia. Notice how it's got a lot of little babies that you can propagate from. So Costa Farms does label this as a fun to share plant, and that's basically their way of saying that you can easily propagate and share with friends. That is a way to save money on plants. I'm all about saving money. There's certain plant products that I think you can save money on, like certain fertilizers, but the one way you can save money on plants is through propagation, through plant trades, through plant cutting. So if you have a community that you're part of, like a lot of Facebook groups may have that, I know that I will eventually put together a Grow Folds Facebook group. I just want to make sure that I have the time to really invest and launch it before I just open up a Facebook page and create a Grow Folds account. So stay tuned for that. There's just a lot of things that I have planned for the channel. The channel is growing exponentially fast, and it's due to the fact that you guys have been so supportive, and I appreciate that. And then over here, we've got a Epipremnum alplissimum silver streak pothos. This is another plant I want to grow because I like the narrow leaves of it. This is a plant that can grow as a trailing plant, or if you grow it up a pole, it will actually get larger leaves. So I really like the narrow and like silver streaks that it has. And who cannot love a Raven ZZ plant? Like, I love Raven ZZs. These are so easy, and this isn't a self-watering planter, which makes it even easier. What I like about Raven ZZ is it's a plant that thrives with neglect. Like, you don't really have to water it often. It can tolerate lower light conditions. It is a moderate grower. I wouldn't even consider a ZZ plant a slow growing plant. From what I've seen, it'll push out some huge shoots if you just leave it alone, and it's a plant that I love. Now, one plant product, a fertilizer I would recommend is Osmocote. I really like Osmocote because it actually is a slow release fertilizer, so whenever you water your plants are getting fed nutrients. So I do recommend Osmocote if you don't have that fertilizer product already. Just follow the instructions. I just put a couple of pellets in the surfaces of all of my houseplants, and they do just fine. And you can see here, this is a Calathea dotty. Love that purple tone on that Calathea. And then we've got a Calathea medallion right next to it. Calatheas are actually really enticing plants in terms of how beautiful they look whenever you're plant shopping. But if you don't give them enough of the care tips that they need, they will wilt, crisp up, and die. And that's really the sad part about calatheas. I have figured out a plant hack with a calathea. I have pretty much just converted them in hydroponics where they're literally just growing in a bowl of water and they are doing very well. So the way I do it is I actually spray down and clean out all of the roots from the soil, stick it in water and a bowl of water, and they do just fine. I haven't had any issues, and they pushed out some new growth, so I really like that a lot. Here is a hanging basket for $16.98, a Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess. Beautiful looking Hoya. Look at how the variegation is just stunning, and I love this particular Hoya. This Hoya is actually a pretty fast grower for me. I have yet to see blooms on my Hoya, but once I do, I will definitely do like a plant foldy grow fold celebration. And then over here, another Epipremnum aureum neon pothos for $16.98. Beautiful looking pothos. Look at how neon the leaves are. So I always ask this question: do you like the neon pothos or the philodendron hederaceum lemon lime? Let me know in the comments. I've done a poll about that. I really can't pick between the two because both are beautiful. Like, I like the leaf shape of a philodendron hederaceum, but I also like the growth rate of a neon pothos. And you can see every single Lowe's you go to, you will see pretty much the same Exotic Angel starter plants by Costa Farms. I'm not complaining. I actually love it. I've always been tempted to just buy several of them and actually start a collection, but we'll see what that looks like. And here is a plant foldy favorite. This is a Hedera helix, or what you call a Hedera helix. That's the correct way to say it. English ivy. Love me some English ivy. You already know the drill. It's just a difficult plant because it gets spider bites as soon as you bring it into your home. And then right over here, we've got some Especia. I think that's how you pronounce it. This one's actually in bloom. So whenever I would see this actually at a big box store like Lowe's, I remember seeing this, but it would never really have any blooms. But look at how beautiful the blooms are on this particular plant. This would be another plant that's easy to propagate. Notice how it's trailing. You can take some cuttings, stick it in water, and it will root. But look at how beautiful the blooms are. I really didn't think that it would be a blooming plant. I love the texture of the leaves, the metallic shine on it. It is a plant that I would like to grow. Some people say that this is similar to African violets, and I will tell you the African violet that I bought a little while back, the variegated one, is doing very well for me. It's lots of blooms, but it has substantially grown, and I haven't really taken care of it. This one right over here is a Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. This is a beautiful one as well. So if I find the larger hanging basket of marble queen pothos, I believe I'm going to go ahead and buy it. I just love the variegation of that marble queen pothos. And then we've just got several other hanging baskets right over here. So I'm just going to pan over and show you all of the different plants that they have available at this Lowe's. And look at how beautiful this hanging basket of Hedera helix. Look at how the leaves are a little bit more narrow. It's just it's got a different type of leaf shape, and that's the thing that's really frustrating about English ivy. They go in so many varieties, but they're such a difficult plant. Plant folies, let me know if you have grown in the English ivy indoors successfully, because I have killed 14 of them. This is another beautiful type of tropical cactus right over here. Look at that. Beautiful coloration on it, and it's just got fuzzy spikes on it. This one is also for $16.98. This is one that I see often as well. This is the dogtail cactus. It is not a succulent type cactus. This is more of like a tropical cactus. And then you can see right here some more exotic angel starter plants. That one is an Aralia. And then what else do we have over here? Let's take a look at this. So this one right here is a Nanthy plant. Really like that green on green variegation. This is for $22.97. I would love to get this plant as well, just because look at how beautiful that variegation is. It is a prayer plant, so it actually moves alongside with the light that you provided. So that's always an interesting feature, but beautiful looking plant. I would actually consider getting that. And then we've got a classic Scindapsus trubii moonlight, or a silver pothos, even though it's not a pothos technically. Beautiful color on it. I love that that aquamarine color, that silver tone about it. It is a slower growing pothos type plant, but it is one that I definitely want to add to my collection just because it's an interesting looking foliage. It used to be a very uncommon plant. It was actually super expensive, and now that it's just a big box store plant that you can find. And then over here we've got a philodendron Birkins. This is another plant that used to be uncommon that you can find pretty much everywhere you go. You can even find them at grocery stores. Actually, if you go to a grocery store, you'll get a better price. Kroger sells them for $9.98. And then you can see right here another Dracaena, underrated plant. Add yourself a Dracaena. I always tell any plant foldies, please add yourself a Dracaena in your plant collection because they are amazing and they're easy to care for plants. And you can see right over here, beautiful plants. I would say this Lowe's stays consistent. That's the thing about big box stores. Certain big box stores stay consistent with their plants. They may not get a restock, so I can tell that this Lowe's doesn't really have a restock, but they have beautiful plants like this. Like I'm almost tempted to get this Alocasia poly, but I already know that my Alocasia, some of them aren't doing very well. I actually am going to grow my Alocasias outside. I feel like they would be an easier plant to take care of, but you know, this Lowe's, it tends to have some really nice plants, and I will show you just some of these other large plants. So Live Trends has all of these large planters right here. These are self-watering large planters for $39.98. This is a Ficus elastica ruby, beautiful plant, and I like the fact that they have orchid bark as the top dressing of the plant. I really like that a lot, and I like the fact that it is a large self-watering planter. So for those that struggle with like watering just like me, self-watering planters might be ideal for your situation because all you have to do is fill the reservoir of the plant and it will water itself throughout throughout its lifetime. You just have to make sure you provide it with water. So self-watering planters are pretty cool. I would recommend it. I probably need to get self-watering planters for a lot of my plants since I don't really water my plants, and that's really just embarrassing to even admit on YouTube, but that is the reason why some of my plants have suffered, and I realize that, and I am catching up to it and actually having a better routine for that. But as you can see, I will be exiting this Lowe's, but this is a Lowe's off of Highway 121 off of Custer Road in McKinney, Texas. If you are a local plant foldy, definitely check this out. They have lots of plants to choose from, many plants that I feel like are priced at a very good price, and plants that I would recommend. You know, if you're gonna buy plants at a big box store, I would definitely recommend like the pothos plant, aglaonemas, peace lilies, any outdoor plants like Coleus plants are really good. And the next location I will be visiting is a plant location I love shopping at, and that is HEB grocery store. So we are very fortunate that this is a Texan exclusive grocery store, so you won't see HEBs out of the state of Texas, but HEB is a place that locally sources Texas products. Even the plants that we see over here are grown in Texas, and I love that. Obviously, they will still source from other plant sources like Costa Farms. Gonna be pretty much Costa Farms is everywhere, but this HEB, which is right off of Custer Road in McKinney, Texas, is the McKinney, Texas HEB. I just wanted to go do a quick trip here just to see if there are any plants that might be interesting to feature. You know, there's always a surprise for me when it comes to like seeing HEB plants. You can see they have a lot of plants outdoors. It is a full-blown garden center, and I love the fact that their pricing is very cost-effective. So we're going to see what kind of plants that they have available here. You can see they've got some hanging baskets for only $8.97. They've got some different types of impatiens, marigolds, and even Coleus plants. And as we look over here, look at how beautiful these wax begonias are for $9.99. That is a large container of wax begonia, and the leaves are really large as well. Beautiful red texture as well on that. And then you can see they've got even more baskets of plants, and these plants are just readily available and super inexpensive. So if you're going to ask me a place to go buy plants, I would recommend HEB if you live near one. I am so fortunate that there's an HEB literally 5 minutes away from where I'm based at, so I will always visit this particular one. But you can see they're now selling Coleus plants, $8.97. Look at how large these Kong Coleus plants are. If I already didn't have all of these Coleus plants, I would probably buy it. But this is also within the range of a big box store. Actually, I may go back and buy this Coleus plant because look at how large it is and look at how beautiful it is. I am concerned that they are growing these Coleus plants in full sun just because they really need to be more in like bright indirect light. But, you know, look at this one right here. Actually, wow. I want to get this one because this is a Coleus pink salmon. So it's got more of like an orange coral tone to it. And then this one right here is the same one, but let's see. Yeah, this is the Kong pink salmon pink. This one would have more of that salmon tone if you give it more bright indirect light. I do like Kong Coleus plants. They just get those large leaves. They would not make really good like bonsai type Coleus plants, but if you want a large Coleus plant that can get up to 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide, or even larger, you want to get a Kong Coleus. I love that a lot, and $8.97 is not a bad price at all. It's pretty much the same price as Walmart, but these are much larger. So obviously HEB really takes the crown when it comes to most cost-effective pricing. This is a Kong red Coleus plant. Really like that a lot for $8.97. Really like the look of it. And there's just several plants that I would definitely be a fan of. And then you can see right over here, we've got a lot of variegated boat lilies. And then we've got some more of these ground cover plants right here. I really like the neon color of this particular plant. Let's see what it is. It is a Durantha Cuban gold plant. I'm not sure what the plant care tips are for this, but I would definitely want to grow that in my landscape because it has that beautiful neon variegation. We've got some purple Persian plants right here, Persian shield plants. Look at how beautiful that is. This is actually pretty full. Mine are just larger, 2 larger leaf forms. I would prefer to actually have one that's a little bit more bushy and full. Beautiful plant that needs to be in shade. It will burn in the if it gets too much sun. But this is a strobilanthes. I think that's how you pronounce it, or a Persian shield plant. A beautiful purple plant. I can believe that it's actually super purple. You talk about a purple plant. This is a purple plant, and I love it so much. I have one that I'm growing, and I'm hoping to grow as a indoor plant eventually. It's out in my front patio in the shade, and we've got some variegated boat lilies right over here. Really like that. It's a Sacracia or variegated purple heart plant. They call it a variegated boat lily. So there's just a lot of different names for it. Now, if you give it a lot of bright indirect light or even full sun, it will give you better variegation. It'll actually give you the pinks and the streaks like this right here. I am really happy with my the current one I got that I bought off of Lowe's. It's giving me some really good variegation, and it's a fast growing plant. Like mine has that type of variegation where it's got the streaking like this. Look at how beautiful that is. So I would recommend, if you want a purple plant, a pink plant, I would recommend adding this into your indoor space or outdoor patio garden, or even as a ground cover. And then we've got a bunch of asparagus ferns right over here. Gorgeous looking one. And you can see right here, this is the Texas backyard. They've got a bunch of assorted basil right over here as well. So I really like the look of that. So we will see what that all looks like for me. And then you can see right over here, we've got some Boston fern hanging baskets. So HEB, this is just going to be a quick trip just to see what kind of plants that they have, but I am excited to show you that they have all of these different types of plants. Like, this is really cool. I am going to go into the Texas backyard and just pan over here and show you they've got a bunch of wax begonia hanging baskets for $8.97. They've got a bunch of clearance plants right here. They've got some more hanging baskets, 2 for $20. So they've got some good sales going on, but I did want to go pan out over here and see what else they have. They've had some geraniums for $9.59. That's actually on clearance for $9.50. And then a bunch of hanging baskets at Epipremnum RM. This is for $14.97. Massive hanging basket, actually. So let's take a look at this. This is the first time I've seen a combination of pothos plants. So it looks like they've got a golden pothos, they've got some type of global green pothos or emerald green pothos, they've got an enjoy pothos, they've got they've just got a lot of different types of pothos in his hanging basket for about $14.97. I'm almost tempted to buy it just because I love pothos plants. So that's the thing about HEB. Would you agree that these plants are actually really cost effective? These are massive plants, and that's interesting that some of them have like mixed cuttings of different types of pothos plants. This one has a highly variegated golden pothos. So if you are going to start an indoor house plant collection, get yourself a pothos plant. I can only recommend just the really easy plants, but like, this is one of the easiest plants to take care of. This one has some really good variegation. So with golden pothos, again, if you get one that's highly variegated, just to maintain its variegation, you need to give it a lot of bright indirect light. This is for $14.97, and I absolutely love that. And then right over here, we've got some peperomia raindrops. I believe this is for $19, but that's a nice looking plant by Mason Farms. So Mason Farms actually sources a lot of their plants to another grocery store called Kroger's, but I love the fact that this is a large one as well. Look at how beautiful the leaves are. Look at that waxy texture, and this one actually has blooms. So this plant actually is happy. I love peperomia plants because they're easy to grow. So this is another plant I would recommend for a beginner. If you want to get a peperomia raindrop, that's another one I would recommend. And then you can see right here, they've got an Algerian ivy. And then they've also got this philodendron hope right here, or a thamatophyllum. I think that's what you would call it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a nice looking plant. And then right over here, we've got an Algerian ivy hanging basket. So they're similar to a Hedera helix or a Hedera helix English ivy. It's just got larger foliage. It's a beautiful plant, but they are also spider mite prone. So you have to be really careful when bringing that type of plant out into your indoor space. And then I am actually in love with this Alocasia stingray. So I've seen these Alocasia stingrays for quite some time. Look at how massive this Alocasia stingray is. I would love to find a variegated Alocasia stingray. I know that the pricing is super expensive, but look at the shape of these Alocasia stingray, and the beauty of it is this plant can actually get even larger, but this is already a massive Alocasia right here. Really love the look of an Alocasia stingray. It used to be a very uncommon Alocasia, so I'm glad that you can find them at grocery stores now, but you can see, look at the shape of that Alocasia. Now with Alocasia care tips, bright indirect light, you want to make sure that you keep their soil, maybe water them once a week, wait about 50% until the soil is dry, and that is about it. And then you can see right here, as I was leaving HEB, I found me this uncommon or more so rare Coleus plant. Look at this right here. This is a sea monkey apricot Coleus plant. I think that's what it's called. Look at how it's got smaller foliage. This would be one that I would definitely make into a bonsai because it's got smaller foliage. And then this is another Coleus plant that I don't have in my collection. This is part of the Main Street series. So this is the Rodeo Drive one. I love the purple stem. So you already know these are for $4.97. You already know that I'm going to buy these Coleus plants. Any Coleus plant that I run into that I don't have, I will definitely buy. And you can see right here, this is another one that I don't have as well that I may end up buying, but I'm only going to limit myself to 2 Coleus plants today. So I'm going to end up getting the sea monkey apricot Coleus plant. That is a beautiful one right there. I haven't really seen a lot of small foliage Coleus plants, and then the other ones, but this one is another one right here that I may not have, so I may end up buying this because this one is going to have some pink speckling, so I may come back for the red one in this particular one as well. Like I said, this HEB is only about 5 minutes away from where I'm based at, so it's an easy place to go find. I may actually buy it on my day off, which is Tuesdays, when I do my plant shopping videos anyway. So that's exciting that they have all of these assorted Coleus plants. I didn't really see that. I went through the Texas backyard, but I found that these Coleus plants, like, look at that. That is so beautiful. I would actually add that to my collection. So plant folies, let me know in the comments if you would add these Coleus plants. I highly recommend you guys adding Coleus plants to your collection. I hope you guys don't get tired of me talking about Coleus plants, but with my YouTube channel, I really want to be talking about subjects that I'm really passionate about, and right now it is all about that Coleus. But you can see here some more Main Street Coleus plants. Let me know in the comments if you've added some Coleus to your plant collection. Again, they can be grown outdoors in a landscape or on a container and all of that, but you can see beautiful Coleus plants. I will see you guys on the next plant shopping video. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at Walmart in Rockwall, Texas. This is a renowned Walmart that apparently has a really good indoor and outdoor houseplant collection. So as always, please make sure you are hitting that like button for this video, as well as subscribing to my channel for daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. I am super excited to finally show you guys the Rockwall, Texas Walmart. This was the Walmart that actually had a bunch of Monstera Thai constellations released by Costa Farms. Who knows, I might get lucky and find a Monstera Thai constellation today, but we will go ahead and take a look at this. I'm actually shopping during Mother's Day, and you can see right off the bat, there are a bunch of plants that are displayed right at the entrance. I do like the fact that they have these plants merchandised well. The first plant we're going to be taking a look at is a Raven ZZ plant. These are the larger versions by Costa Farms. Love Raven ZZ plants. Dark foliage plants just have this elegance about them, especially when you display them with like lighter planters. As you can see here, this is our favorite Hydra Helix. Or the correct way to say it is Hedera Helix, English ivy. This is the royalty ivy. Now, for those that are new to my channel, I call Hedera Helix, or I pronounce it that way, just because it's a running joke among my plant foldies, and I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. So for you, for those that are new to this channel, welcome to our community, our plant foldy community. But you can see right off the bat, we've got some beautiful bird of paradise plants as well by Costa Farms. These are large forms ones, and I really like the fact that Costa Farms has just been releasing different types of sizes for their plants. Here is a Hoya Bortonii, I think that's how you pronounce it. This one has some really colorful blooms apparently when it actually blooms. I can't wait for my Hoya plants to actually bloom, so we'll see if that actually happens for me. But you can see right here, Hoya Bortonii, I think that's how you pronounce it. So please forgive me if I am not pronouncing the plant names correctly. They are a little bit of a challenge, but I'm working on it. And then you can see here, we've got some Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess. This is a common Hoya, but needless to say, the variegation is still stunning. I am still getting into like Hoya plants. I know there's a bunch of people who love Hoyas. There's a huge following. I think we call them Hoya heads. I'm not a certified Hoya head yet, but I might get there depending on whether I buy more Hoyas. But as you can see right here, the actual reputation for this Walmart does live up to its expectations, because I've never seen a Walmart be this full and have such beautiful merchandising. And what's interesting is all of their indoor house plants, their tropical plants, are actually in the middle of the store right next to the cash registers. Normally it's next to the outdoor section, but notice how immaculate the plant styling is, the zone of all of the plants are. I really love the fact that they've got all those Phalaenopsis orchids together. So I just want to pan over here and show you a wider lens of just what these plants look like. This is absolutely stunning. It almost feels like a local plant nursery, the way they have these plants merchandise. I've noticed that they obviously get a lot of house plants. I'm basing this on just the fact that perhaps they sell a lot of these tropical plants, and that's the reason why this particular Walmart has a lot of plants to begin with. But you can see right over here, I haven't really shown y'all a lot of the planters that I would definitely buy. So Better Homes and Gardens actually has a really good selection of planters. They've got some modern contemporary feels for it. This is a planter I have been thinking about getting right over here. I do like the terracotta version, but the white version also looks nice. I like simple textures if I'm going to have textures on my plants, and I also like planters that have modern shapes and in just that matte finish. Like over here, this is a really nice subdued green color, and then we've got some terracotta pots. Now, as far as terracotta pots, I find them very classic pots. I love the look of a terracotta pot. I think I would definitely grow pots here. There's a couple of plant YouTubers that strictly grow their plants in terracotta pots. The good thing about growing plants in terracotta pots is it doesn't really retain as much moisture. So if you're afraid about, like if you're an overwaterer or somebody that just waters their plants frequently, I would recommend using a terracotta pot, because terracotta pots actually absorb the moisture, and it's really good for plants if you are one of those people that actually waters their plants or overwaters them. I am not one of them. I actually tend to underwater, so sometimes terracotta pots may not be the best pots for me. And then you can see right over here, gorgeous looking Ficus lyrata. I've never seen such a large Ficus lyrata sold at a Walmart. Typically I'll see the ones for like $34.99, but these ones are huge, and these ones are for $95. What a gorgeous looking Ficus lyrata tree or fiddle fig leaf tree. It is about 6 feet tall, and $95 for that size of a tree is not bad at all. Even local plant nurseries will sell them for a little bit more of a higher price. But as you can see here, Ficus lyrata, what a gorgeous looking plant. And what I like about Ficus lyrata is just how large the leaves get. And even as I pan over here, I am just impressed with the amount of plants that they have at this local Walmart in Rockwall, Texas. Of all places, Rockwall, Texas has gorgeous looking house plants. I'm just getting really excited to show you guys what these plants look like. And in plant foldies, what do you think about these fiddle fig leaf trees? Super healthy looking fiddle fig leaf trees. So they've got the large ones for $95, and then they also have the smaller ones. Well, I say smaller ones, but they're still a pretty good size plant in these like basket planters. These ones are for $39.96. These are all sourced out by Costa Farms, and I am happy that my fiddle fig leaf tree that I bought for 99 cents at Sprouts grocery store is doing very well. I've always been a little bit weary about growing fiddle fig leaf trees, just because about 3 to 4 years ago, they used to be such a trendy plant. Like all of these interior house design magazines would feature them, and I can see why, because they have very large leaves, they've got a natural shine, and they just have a really nice structure. Like definitely gives you that tropical indoor tree vibe about it. The only thing about fiddle fig leaf trees are they are about a bit finicky when it comes to the lighting. So if you don't provide it ample amounts of light, it will drop its leaves. It also doesn't like to be moved around a lot. So if you find a spot in your home where it's bright in direct light, leave it there. Otherwise, it may drop its leaves and show that it's actually unhappy. Now, we've got a bunch of Majesty palms right over here. These are also a plant that you will see at a big box store quite often. These are plants with benefits, but these are actually plants that are sourced out by Costa Farms. Now, Majesty palms, I'm just not really into Majesty palms, because palms in general just require a lot of light, and I don't always have the best lighting conditions indoors. I would venture to say most indoor spaces may not have the best lighting, so you would have to supplement, certain plants with some grow lights. But you can see here as I pan over, like, look at how beautiful, how full and beautiful this Walmart is. I love the fact that they have just several plants, and then they merchandise them by the same types of plants. I really like that a lot. It'll inspire me to actually pick up a plant today. I'm not really looking to buy any plants, but who knows, just based on the merchandising, what that would look like. And you can see they've got some more planters right over here. I like these wall hanging planters by Better Homes and Gardens. I really like the fact that it's got a very simple finish to the planters. And then you can see here, so I'm not really into the glazes like these are just a little bit too much for me. But I do like this gunmetal matte finish on these planters. These are for $5, and I really like this a lot. I've got a bunch of white planters like this, but I like the fact that they have like a gray tone. This would make a perfect planter for maybe a plant that is lighter tone, like a really light Dieffenbachia, or some dark light foliage plant, maybe a really light looking Coleus plants. Now, I've been growing a lot of Coleus plants in my plant collection. So for those that are just recently discovering my YouTube channel, welcome. So there's a couple plants that I've talked about quite often in the last 3 weeks, and that would be Coleus plants would be number one, Aglaonema, syngoniums, and just easy to care for plants. But as you can see right here, I am just blown away by the merchandising of all of the plants that they have. They just have rows and rows of Pachira aquatica, for instance, or money tree plants, a bunch of Phalaenopsis orchids. And when I filmed this was actually on Sunday, Mother's Day, and I filmed it around 9 a.m. so it wasn't as busy just yet. Sometimes it's easier for me to do plant shopping videos either late at night or early in the morning, and I'm so glad that I was able to make a trip out to Rockwall. I was visiting my mother-in-law who happens to live out in Rowlett, Texas, so it was only about a 12 to 13 minute drive to the Rockwall Walmart. I sometimes think about Target just because, big box stores, but I am glad that I was able to come around here, and I do want to show you guys how healthy looking all of the plants are at this Walmart. I'm very, very impressed so far with it. And for my plant foldies, I have tried very hard to be consistent about my plant shopping videos. So if you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribing to the channel with the notification bell on, so that way you can actually be informed when I do my live premieres, which are typically at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I have a live premiere chat that comes along with it. As you can see here, we've got a beautiful Dieffenbachia. So what I like about this Dieffenbachia for 1984, really good price actually, is that it's got such a light foliage leaf to it. And then we've got some Alocasia gigantea. These are also for 1984, beautiful Alocasia. I haven't ever seen them offered in a 10-inch planter, at least this specific Alocasia. And unfortunately, do you see those little white spikes, those spots? Those are actually spider mites. So like, I don't want to put this Walmart out, but all of the Alocasia, if you see one full leaf full of spider mites, I'm sure that they're going to have some more, and there's some even underneath this Alocasia. So this goes to show that even if you have some beautiful looking plants, you have to inspect your plants. So unfortunately, even if I wanted to buy one of those Alocasias, I wouldn't really take the risk of purchasing that Alocasia, just because that one particular Alocasia had a bunch of spider mites. So I mean, that is a little bit disappointing, but from afar, look at how gorgeous this is. Now, if you still want to buy that Alocasia, what I would do is obviously spray it down with some neem oil, some insecticidal soap. I would spray the tops, bottoms, stems, in between the crevices of the stems, the top of the soil, the bottom of the pot, and then just wash it down with water and do it again. And then also just quarantine it away from your plants. All of the Dieffenbachia underneath that Alocasia I would not purchase as well, or if I did, I would definitely make sure to spray it down with some insecticidal soap or neem oil. And then over here we've got some Ficus elastica burgundy. These are also for 1984. That's the thing I love about Walmart. You know, Walmart gets a lot of rap in terms of just how they treat their plants, but if you find a Walmart like this where the plants look healthy minus the spider mite situation with Alocasia, and you know, I'll give Alocasias a pass, especially this Walmart. Alocasias in general are just spider mite magnets. Like, you can do everything right, and for some reason spider mites will still appear. I say that growing Alocasia are best when you actually grow them outdoors. Indoors are just a little bit more challenging. And you can see over here, gorgeous looking spathiphyllum or peace lilies, very easy to care for plants. And then we have some more Pachira aquatica. Now, what I like about this Walmart is they are very smart about how they merchandise their plants. So I've seen a lot of Walmarts actually get this Pachira aquatica on like a pallet, but what this Walmart particularly did is actually take them out of the pallets and actually merchandise them on these tables at the very top to give this table a little bit more height. And I really think that that's an intelligent way of merchandising the plant. It gives you more inspiration to pick up a plant and just really observe it. And that's the thing about these plant shopping videos, my plant foldies. I already know that I pretty much feature the same types of plants daily for at least an hour, but it's always fun to just showcase plants anyway. I feel like these house plant shopping videos that I do, like this one's for $39.96, it's like we're hanging out. It's like you and I are walking around a big box store, and I'm just literally giving you my insights about these plants. I don't claim to be an expert at all when it comes to house plants, but what I can offer is my honest insights and just my experience about growing specific plants and the knowledge I've learned over the years by growing plants. Now, for those that are starting house plants or growing plants indoors, Epipremnum aureum golden pothos, this is the plant I think you need to buy. So if you're going to start a plant collection, buy yourself a hanging basket from Walmart. These are only for $10.97 of Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. This plant is easy to grow. You can see that it's already trailing. This is an easy plant to propagate. You know, care tips, it's best to give it bright indirect light, but if you don't give it the best lighting conditions, it can still tolerate lower light conditions. Pothos plants are also very drought tolerant. Now, obviously you want to water them on a consistent basis. I would say wait till the soil is dried out completely and then water them. You can over water them. They are still a little bit more forgiving anything when it comes to overwatering, so it's an easy plant to grow, as well as the Raven ZZ plant. Now, Raven ZZ plants, I love these large pots of them. Look at how the new growth actually comes out green, but then over time it actually hardens. I love that about Raven ZZ. It's just interesting, just the chemistry behind these plants. And I just love that dark foliage of the Raven ZZ plant. You know, a Raven ZZ plant this size would look perfect in like a matte white planter. And as I pan over here, I still can't believe that these plants, I mean, these plants are just merchandised very well. Plant foldies, let me know in the plant comments if you guys agree. You already know that I love comments in the comments section. If you are watching this video during a live premiere chat, please say hello. We love seeing new faces. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen a bunch of new faces joining the live premiere chat. I do want to send a shout out to all of my Canadian plant foldies. You guys always come out full force. I would like to say hello to Kathy. You're always on the chat. To Alice, to Will, to Alfred, to Steven. There's just a bunch of people. And if I miss calling you out, I just need to have like a whole list of names that I will shout out during the live premieres. You guys are awesome. And just know that you guys bring me a lot of joy. And then over here, we've got a bunch of Begonia maculatas. These are trending tropical plants for 1984. I'm happy that I was actually able to get a free Begonia maculata from my grandmother. So my grandmother is the one who actually has taught me a lot about plants. You know, grandmothers, they tend to do that. And I'm just really happy that she was able to propagate a Begonia maculata for me. So when I visited her not too long ago, she gave me some free plants. And one of them happens to be a Begonia maculata. So I don't have to spend $19.84. And then over here, we've got some aglaonemas. So aglaonemas are my favorite plants to grow. There's so many varieties of aglaonemas, although I feel like aglaonema is about to lose its crown. The one plant that I literally have a plant obsession over is Coleus plants. And I get it for those that are into like rare philodendrons and aroids and whatnot. I know Coleus plants seem to be a very basic plant. You know, most people consider a Coleus plant an outdoor, annual plant, but I'm telling you, you can grow Coleus plants indoors, and that is my current plant obsession. I will say that I still love aglaonemas. Like this is an aglaonema pink Siam by Costa Farms Trending Tropicals. This is for 1984. And the thing about aglaonema pink Siam is it'll get that beautiful pink border if you give it a lot of bright indirect light. Oftentimes aglaonemas are actually marketed as a plant that can tolerate lower light conditions, but I'll tell you, if you grow an aglaonema in lower light conditions, not only will the growth be slow, it's already a slow growing plant, it will possibly get leggy, and you're not going to get the best coloration for it. So oftentimes we think of low light tolerant plants as a plant that can live in low light. It can, but it's definitely not going to be at its healthiest point. So you want to make sure at best, you always want to give a lot of plants bright indirect light. That is just the best happy medium for a plant. You got to think bright indirect light is basically synonymous to like planet Earth. Like it's like a perfect environment for humans. So it's kind of the same thing with just bright indirect light. For plants, that is the happy medium for almost any plant. It's pretty much universal. And then you can see right here, this is a pink Dalmatian aglaonema for 1984. Again, if you want to have more of that pink variegation, you really want to make sure that you give this aglaonema a lot of bright indirect light. Notice that there is a bud that's about to bloom. Now for aglaonema, that is bad news, especially if you want to grow a lot more of the leaves. It's going to actually, if you allow it to keep its bloom, it's going to actually put more energy into actually producing the bloom versus growing leaves. So if you ever see blooms on plants and you're not really growing it for the flowers, definitely cut off the blooms as soon as you see it. That way the energy is refocused back into actually growing foliage versus the bloom. So that's just a little tip. I always did think it was kind of cool to get a bloom on an aglaonema, but I've let a bloom actually grow on an aglaonema, and it will really stun the growth of the plant. Now, these are Phalaenopsis orchids for $15.97. I will say Walmart has some very cost-effective Phalaenopsis orchids. Actually, almost all the plants. Typically, Walmart will have the most inexpensive plants as compared to any of the big box stores. And again, plant foldies, if you like that 1 hour plant shopping video for daily content, please make sure you are hitting that subscribe button with the notification bell on. I was looking at some of my YouTube analytics, and it seems like 70% of my views are still coming from people that are not subscribed to my channel. So let me know what I can do or what content I can provide in order for you to hit that like button and also that subscribe button. I really want to make sure that we capture all of the subscriptions possible. We are now at 9,450 subscribers. I'm really hoping that we can grow the channel to 10,000 subscribers by the 3rd week of May. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. But if you want to help me grow this YouTube channel, all you've got to do really is just to hit the like button. I know a lot of my plant foldies, especially during the live premiere chats, will encourage others to hit the like button. When I say that that is the golden ticket, that is the one thing that you can definitely do to support me. It really is, because YouTube will push it and the algorithm will be actually happy when you hit that like button. So please do that for me. Pretty please with a plant on top, plant foldies. Let's go ahead and do that. And then as you can see right over here, white Phalaenopsis orchids. I always say that white blooms or white flowers are so elegant. It's one of my favorite colors in terms of flowers. I would say red flowers and pink flowers would be my second and third favorites, but white blooms are possibly my favorite one. But I'm just gonna pan over here and just kind of let you see how full and how beautiful the merchandising is on this Walmart. As you can see, we've got some Belgian waffle plants right over here. This one is for, let's see how much it cost. I think it's about $5.97. And then here's another Belgian waffle plant right over here. Love that caramel pink variegation that this plant has. I actually have one. Actually, this is for $5.48. I have one that I bought as a hanging basket on clearance from HEB, which is a Texas grocery store. And it's doing very well grown outdoors. Now, when I try to grow a snow white waffle plant, it didn't do very well for me. You know, snow white waffle plant, these waffle plants tend to need to be a little bit more on the moist side when it comes to watering, and I'm just not that great at watering my plants. That is a Palea plant right here, Palea aluminum plant. This is another plant that I love just because look at how beautiful that variegation is, or that metallic shine on this plant. This one is for $4.97. I don't mind buying another one of these plants because they are easy to care for. They just need to make sure that you water them you know, quite often. I would say make sure that their soil doesn't dry out completely. Same thing with this Fittonia plant right over here. This is for $4.97 by Costa Farms Exotic Angels. Have you ever actually had the temptation to actually buy a bunch of Exotic Angel Costa Farms plants? I mean, they pretty much have the same ones that they release, but they would make a good collection of just house plants to start off with. And then this is a bromeliad for $7.96 in a 4-inch planter. It's a special price apparently, and look at how beautiful this bromeliad is. I do have one bromeliad in my houseplant collection. I ended up getting it for $2.45 at Kroger, which is another grocery store that I go to buy plants at, because I've noticed that grocery stores tend to clearance out their plants. They try to keep them fresh and pretty much treat them like produce. And so when a plant starts to kind of deteriorate in its health, they reduce it. And I happened to get one that was still a pretty good looking bromeliad. And then over here, we've got a Petra croton, or Croton Petra, for $4.97. Notice that all of the Croton Petras we look at have different types of coloration. Some of them have almost like dark black leaves. Some of them are a little bit more variegated. It's just really influenced by the amount of light you give it. And then this is a purple waffle plant. And I will say the purple waffle plant, out of all the waffle plants, have been the easiest to grow. Really like the dark foliage on the leaves. You can see that it's almost like black, and then on the undersides is a deep purple color. Beautiful plant as well. And then we've got a bunch of curly type fern right over here. I think this is the fluffy ruffle fern. This is also for $4.97 as an exotic angels plant by Costa Farm. So nice starter plants. Now this is a Dracaena Florida Beauty. Beautiful plant. It doesn't look like a typical Dracaena. I do like the speckling of this particular Dracaena right here, this Florida Beauty. I have one that's growing for me, and it's quite easy because it can actually tolerate being under watered. So if you don't water it as often, it can still do very well. And again, that's the reason why whenever you're going houseplant shopping, you want to look for plants that really fit your lifestyle. Like I would say for this neon pothos or Epipremnum aureum neon pothos for $4.97, this is a plant that can pretty much fit in anybody's lifestyle because pothos plants are very forgiving plants. They don't really require a lot. I mean, obviously you want to make sure that you water them at some point, but they can even tolerate not being watered for a long period of time, and they won't really like suffer. And then right over here is a Luna Croton for $4.97. Typically, I would think this is a Mame Croton, but when I looked at the plant ID, this is the Luna Croton. It's interesting how plants have different names as well. So it might actually be a Mame Croton. I love crotons, even though crotons are a challenging plant. It's a plant I would recommend growing outdoors versus indoors. I'm actually growing my Croton Magnificent in outside conditions. It's out in full sun in a south-facing lawn, and it's been doing very well for me. And you can see right over here some more bromeliads. This is another bromelia for $7.97. You know, Costa Farms is pretty much the king of all the indoor tropical plants. Super thankful to Costa Farms. I think Costa Farms has some great plants. They've got some great products, and I just really like the fact that they have made exotic plants more readily available for everybody. And I really think that plants like this should be readily available to the average person. I always think about certain plants being really costly. It's like some rare philodendron or some type of plant that is just, you know, hundreds of dollars. But I really think that Costa Farms has done a very good job of trying to make more quote trendy plants more readily available. I like the fact that they have mass-produced plants. You know, for some plant sellers that may not necessarily be the best thing, because there are some plant sellers that really tune into like being able to sell plants for a higher cost. But for just the average person like myself who wants to grow plants, collect plants, I always look for a plant that is cost effective and within my budget. Like this right here, I do like this purple passion plant. I have one that actually got super leggy for some reason, and I don't know if it's just the lighting conditions. I'm glad that I was able to keep it alive. I want to do a little bit of research on how to propagate this plant. I'm actually tempted to buy another purple passion plant. This is only for $4.97. Look at how beautiful this is. And there's several plants in each pot, about 3 to 4 plants. So that's actually a nice and full one. I would love to see a very mature version of that. I've never really seen a purple passion plant that was actually fully mature. So that would be interesting to see. And you can see that there's a bunch of Mother's Day gifts around here right next to these Dieffenbachia. So Costa Farms has also released a bunch of these. These are under the Garden Expert line. So that's basically Walmart's plant brand name, but these are Costa Farms source plants. This one is for $9.97. And now with Dieffenbachia, they are also a plant that I wouldn't recommend for the beginner, just because they can be a little bit finicky. I would say for Dieffenbachia, the reason why they're finicky is because of the lighting requirements they need. They need bright indirect light. If you don't give them enough of that lighting, they will start to get leggy very quickly. And Dieffenbachia are not really pet friendly. They are super toxic to pets and even young kids. So just make sure that you also do your research on certain house plants. I need to do more research on specific indoor plants. So as I talk about them during my plant shopping videos, besides just giving you guys the plant IDs, I will also try to get you guys plants that are pet friendly, or at least give you some pet friendly options. Right over here is a Dracaena Hawaiian plant. Really like this as well. This is also for $9.97 in a 6-inch planter. And honestly, most 6-inch planters, even Dieffenbachia and then Dieffenbachia Dracaenas, are a little bit more pricey, but you can see that these are a nice size Dracaena. You can get at least 2 Dracaenas in this pot, and this is in a 6-inch planter for $9.97. Really like Dracaenas because they're easy to care for. This is a plant, and same thing with this Dracaena warneckii lemon lime for $9.97. These are plants that can tolerate lower light conditions. If you were to not water them for like 3 to 4 weeks, they would not die. They would actually be able to tolerate that. I wouldn't recommend it though. And these plants can grow up to 3 to 4 feet in height. Now they become more of like a cane type plant. So as it gets larger, the bottom leaves start to disappear and it starts to form a cane. I still like the look of this lemon lime Dracaena because it will still hold all of this beautiful variegation even in lower light conditions. And you know, Dracaenas, I say this in every single video, and I'm pretty sure my plant foliage, you guys are getting tired of it, but I do believe that Dracaenas are such underrated plants. Leave it in the comments and let me know why people find these plants not as interesting. I think they're gorgeous. I've seen several types of Dracaena, and what draws me to them is the fact that they are just so easy to take care of. Now, plant foldies, what do you guys think about all of these other bromeliads? So I have been seeing bromeliads. Pretty much I see a bromeliad every single day in person. This one is for $14.97 in a self-watering planter. I will hand it to Costa Farms again. The self-watering planters is a great idea, especially for those like myself who struggle with either underwatering or forgetting to water the plants. All you have to do is fill the reservoir of water, and there's a wick that will actually pull up that water for the soil. Now this is a wide foreign Monstera adansonii, is a trending tropical. This one is for $19.84, and you know, trending tropicals, it's always interesting to see what is actually being released. You know, Costa Farms has done a really good job. I noticed that they do cycles of trending tropicals. So if I see a specific type of plant, know that most big box stores will most likely get them as well. And then over here, you've got a Ficus lyrata or a fiddle fig leaf tree for $14.97. Notice how cute this new leaf that is unfurling. It's got more of like a yellow tone about it. And you can see that all of these fiddle fig leaf trees come in different sizes, even though they are for $14.97. So I would suggest whenever you go plant shopping at a big box store, the way you would select a plant is obviously check for pests. So ways to check for pests: I would check the undersides of the leaves, I would check the stems, I would check the top of the leaves, I would check the soil, and if you don't see any pests, that's a plus. Another thing I would do is also look for new signs of growth. So if you see growth points popping up, that means that plant is happy and it's healthy, and that is a good candidate as far as a plant that you would buy or take home. And then over here, we've got some more Aglaonema. I wish I knew the Aglaonema plant ID for this, although I'm starting to believe that this particular Aglaonema might just be a no ID Aglaonema. I do love the white stems on Aglaonema. I love white stem plants. Aglaonema especially have some very pronounced coloration on their stems. I have converted a lot of my Aglaonema actually into hydroponics. So what I did is I actually took one of these self-watering planters, took the plant out, took a hose, sprayed down all of the soil as much as I could get off of it, and stuck the Aglaonema into a bowl full of water and some plant nutrients. When I say plant nutrients, I basically just put a very small amount of Miracle-Gro into the water. That way it kind of feeds the plant and gives it nutrients. And I will say, whenever you convert something into hydroponics, some of the not the leaves, but some of the roots will rot away, but then they will also produce some water roots. So once you start to see bright white roots, that's when you know that the plant has acclimated into the hydroponic growing condition. And then over here, we've got a bunch of Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf trees. Notice that there are different sizes. Like this one right here on the left that I'm about to pick up is already nice and full. It's a big size plant for $14.97. This would really make a good starter plant for anybody who wants to grow a fiddle fig leaf tree, and $14.97 in a self-watering planter is an amazing price. Now look at this one. This was also for $14.97. So notice that there is a big size difference in the plants. I always like to be a little bit picky when it comes to my plants that I buy at a big box store, because there's always going to be a situation where, number one, the risk for a pest at a big box store is high. It's highly likely, and I hate to be a pessimist when it comes to that. No offense to anybody that works at a big box store, but big box store plants just don't necessarily get the same type of plant care and plant knowledge by the staff to really prevent those pests. I will give this Rockwall Walmart though, they have it going on in terms of how healthy the plants are and just how it's merchandised and organized. It's really a beautiful looking setup. And you can see here philodendron Birkin. Notice how both of them had different levels of variegation. The first one I picked up was more green, and then you can see the last two that I'm picking up have way more variegation, white variegation. I do find philodendron Birkin a beautiful philodendron. It is an easy to care for plant. I would say for philodendron Birkins, it's the same thing with most philodendrons. Bright indirect light, water when the soil is completely dry, check for pests. They can be susceptible to mealy bugs and potentially spider mites, but more so mealy bugs. And I will say mealy bugs are a tough plant pest to get rid of, because I don't know, they just never seem to die. I've had to battle with them for over a year now, and as soon as I feel like I've gotten rid of them, like a little white speck of a mealy bug will show up, and it's just really frustrating. What's not frustrating though is the fact that I found another philodendron golden crocodile. What a stunning trending tropical plant here. Plant foliage. Would you agree? And I'm curious to see if anybody else is growing up golden crocodile, a philodendron golden crocodile. This is a beautiful plant. It's an easy to care for plant. I've actually underwatered it and neglected it, and it's still doing very well. I like the fact that as this philodendron golden crocodile actually matures, the leaves get a little bit more serrated. The leaves get larger. This is a plant that, although it is more of a spreading mounding plant, as it gets older, it will definitely need something to attach onto, like a moss pole or a plank. Now, all of these philodendron golden crocodile that I'm pulling up are for $19.84 in a self-watering planter, trending tropicals by Costa Farms. So like the fact that this Rockwall Target has some really cool trending tropicals. This one is a Monstera studliana or a Monstera cobra. This again is for $19.84. I have one that I bought that was highly variegated, and I somewhat regret it because the new growth that it's pushing is literally almost all white or a very small speckle of green. I don't know if I should just chop off that and just let it start over. But it is a little bit frustrating that it's not able to really push out new growth without it browning. And then over here, we've got a philodendron ring of fire. This is the first time I've ever seen a philodendron ring of fire offered by Costa Farms in a trending tropical. So hopefully I will see even better variegation on a philodendron ring of fire. The philodendron ring of fires that I've seen at a big box store have come from Growers Bench. But it's nice that Costa Farms can also provide a philodendron ring of fire in a 6-inch planter. I'm going to put this philodendron ring of fire right next to the philodendron golden crocodile. So what a beautiful plant. So you can see that the ring of fire is a variegated version of the golden crocodile, and the golden crocodile is basically the yellow version of the jungle boogie. And then you can even see here as I pan up there some more Phalaenopsis orchids. Now I cannot pronounce this particular plant ID, but I will put this out on the actual plant ID. Beautiful looking plant here. I would actually buy this specific one because I haven't seen one that this was this full. Look at that coloration and also the pattern on these very narrow leaves. I would love to bring one of these home, but then I also had really good restraint today because I realized that as I was filming this, I still had so many plants to tend and actually have some plant chores to do. So I'm going to hold off on that. But you know, that's the thing about these plants. Like this is another good candidate. Now this is for $19.84 as well. If you find a plant sometimes it's best to just hold off on it, because especially at a big box store, it's not like we won't see another trending tropical show up like this. And now that I have discovered the Rockwall Walmart, even though it is a 45-minute drive from where I am based at, it is a Walmart that I would make a special trip for, knowing that they will have a beautiful plant setup like this. You know, there are certain big box stores in my area that I know if I go to it will be stocked with plants and will have some healthy looking plants. But this is just really impressive. Really excited to just show you guys this. And even though it isn't as busy just yet, it is Walmart on Mother's Day. I know that if I stay here a little bit longer, I will have to dodge even more people. Luckily, I haven't had to do that. And then over here, I will show you one of my favorite hanging baskets. This is a strawberry begonia. What I like about strawberry begonia is just how it pushes out all of those little babies, and you can chop them up and then put them in water or put them on the surface of soil, mist it, and you'll propagate a bunch of babies. And I just love that. Now this is a Cupid arrow peperomia. This is the variegated form right over here. This one is also for 1984. Notice how beautiful that cream variegation is. And the variegation is actually bordering the green. So it's not splotchy. It's literally a cream outline. And I love that a lot. And then right next to it for 1984 is a hanging basket of Hoya carnosa, Crimson Princess. Love Hoyas. I don't know what the actual bloom color is for a Hoya carnosa, Crimson Princess. I was able to find a variegated Hoya compacta in bloom at a local plant nursery called Plant Keeper Incorporated. So if you haven't had a chance, please definitely check out that Plant Keeper Incorporated YouTube video in my old videos, just because I also like to feature local plant nurseries as much as big box stores. I've actually done some rearranging on my YouTube channel where I have specific playlists. So if you want to hang out with me, or if you're bored one evening and you just want to listen to me talk about plants, why don't you just go ahead and check out my playlist. I will be taking a vacation to the Philippines in June. I am a little bit concerned that I may not be able to put on some consistent videos. I'm going to try to film as many as I can. But what do you guys think about doing compilations of some of my older plant shopping videos? I'm thinking of maybe doing 3 plant video compilations to where it amounts to about a 2 to 3 hour video. I think that would be kind of cool. That way, if I do a live premiere chat, you guys will have 2 to 3 hours just to interact with, and I like that. I honestly make longer plant shopping videos. That way we have more time to chat on the chats. I do apologize that I haven't been able to interact as much during a live premiere chat, just because I have been filming at that time. I try to maximize on the time in terms of when I produce these videos, because I've explained this before, but it takes about an hour to actually film the video, on top of traveling to the specific big box store, then to do another hour for voiceover plus editing, and then it takes about an hour to literally save the video and then upload. So it's quite a tedious undertaking, but it's one that I enjoy. It's one that I've incorporated in my daily routine for my life, and I want to continue to do that. And then over here, we've got another Peperomia Cupid, but this one is just a green form. It's not the variegated form. So I ask you guys, which one would you buy? Would you buy this green one or the more variegated one? Honestly, when you compare the green form, notice how there's more foliage on the green form. That's because the green form has obviously more chlorophyll, which makes it even more of a vigorous grower. And then you can see here, this is a teddy bear vine. So I see teddy bear vines often at, say, Lowe's, but I wouldn't say the tops of the teddy bear vines are as full as this one. Again, these plants look like literally they were just unpacked from a pallet, but I'm sure they have been sitting here for quite a while. I just love just the merchandising. I can't stop but rave about how beautiful and organized this Rockwall Walmart is. And you can even see here, they've got some calatheas, and notice how they put the calatheas together, even if there's only 2 of them. Now this calathea, I don't know the plant ID, but this is also for $14.97. It's a beautiful looking calathea. I wish calatheas were just not as finicky of a plant. To the plant foldee that left a comment on plant care tips for calatheas, really appreciate that. And that's the thing. you have something to say or you want to put some insights on the comments section, please do. I highly encourage it. I really want to see that engagement on the videos. Even after the live premiere, even if you will just leave a short comment, that would help my plant videos out a lot. And then you can see right here, I actually am looking at this beautiful planter. This is kind of like my aesthetic, very matte, very simple shape. And you can see that it has really put more focus on the actual Phalaenopsis orchid blooms versus the planter. Sometimes I feel like planters could be a little bit busy and it kind of takes away from the plant. I always believe that planters should accentuate the plant's natural beauty versus taking away from it. But as you can see, that gray matte finish, I love the modern look about it. It just gives it such a simplistic but enhanced look on that Phalaenopsis orchid. And as I pan over here, I just want to take the time to look at all of these gorgeous Phalaenopsis orchids and also these hanging baskets. So this hanging basket is some type of Peperomia japonica. So this one is a nice full and lush hanging basket. I don't really know a lot about the care tips, so if you know it, please leave that in the comments section or even during the live premiere chats. I don't really gravitate to smaller foliage plants. I tend to like plants that have larger foliage, more robust foliage. But you can even see here, this is a rainbow moss. I've seen this a lot earlier this year, but notice that it is just one big ball of moss. This is for $19.84, again, in a hanging basket by Costa Farms. I love hanging baskets. It's just that I don't really grow a lot of them because I don't really want to drill a bunch of holes in my space. This, though, however, is a plant that I need you guys to buy. So plant foldies are the ones that are just starting to grow houseplants. Buy yourself a hanging basket of golden pothos here. This is for $19.84. Look at how much plant you get. You can see that it's trailing, so you can take those cuttings and produce more free plants. But it's a very easy plant to take care of. And then right over here, we've got a Hedera helix or a Hedera helix English ivy. This one right here is actually just labeled ivy, although I would think that Costa Farms would give it a better name, Hedera helix or Hedera helix shells or seashells, because these actually look like seashells the way it's curled up. They look like clam shells. I think it's a beautiful English ivy. It's one that I wish I could just take home and grow, but I already know it's not going to do well for me because I killed an English ivy not too long ago. And then here are some more of those Hoya Britoniae ones. I like the look of this specific one. This one has more of a matte finish on its leaves, just the way the texture is. It's not a really shiny Hoya. It is a Hoya apparently that has very colorful blooms. I'm curious to see what that specific Hoya bloom would be. But with Hoyas, again, care tips with Hoyas, you want to make sure you do provide them with bright and direct light. The more light you give a Hoya, the better variegation or coloration it's going to get, because it is going to be sun stressed. And in terms of the how to get them to bloom, I really don't know. Here is a hanging basket of autumn fern. What I find interesting about autumn fern is as the new leaves unfurl, it's got more of a brown caramel look about it. So I suppose that's why it's called autumn fern, just because it reminds us of the fall season. And then you can see beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids right over here again. You just want me crying over you, and I'm thinking about you. You've gotta love these bromeliads, again for $7.96. Love bromeliads. I have just one bromeliad in my plant collection, but bromeliads for the most part, if you just give it some bright indirect light, I bottom water my bromeliads. So basically I'll take this pot and actually stick it in a basin full of water, let the water just soak up into the soil and call it a day. I water mine about once a week, which is actually pretty good for me because I typically take a little bit longer to water my plants. And again, that is the reason why some of my plants have actually declined in their health. I need to do better at that. I'm getting better at that. I got to get myself a little bit more grace when it comes to it, because I am tied up with a lot of the YouTube videos that I've been making. One plant that will forgive me for not watering them, it would be these Epipremnum aureum, sorry. Golden pothos, this is for $10.97. This is actually a pretty lush hanging basket of golden pothos. If you are going to start those plants, growing plants indoors, buy yourself a pothos plant. Here is a false galaxy aurelia. I actually have this one as well. This one is for $4.97. I bought mine a lot cheaper at HEB for $3.97. So like HEB actually had the cheapest or most inexpensive exotic angel plants that I've seen so far. And that is the reason why it is very important whenever you go plant shopping to really canvas and compare and contrast plant pricing. That's why whenever I make my plant shopping videos, I try to give you guys the plant pricing, so that way you can compare that with the plant pricing that you have within your area. You can see right here, this is a Rex begonia for $4.97. Honestly, I would buy my Rex begonia from a local plant nursery called Callaway's. They have mature versions of Rex begonia for $14.99. And so I'd rather get a larger Rex begonia versus the smaller one. Here is a Croton gold dust. This is probably one of the most common types of crotons. Love that the leaves look like somebody splattered a bunch of yellow paint on them. It's got some really interesting texture, beautiful variegation. Crotons need a lot of light, so if you can grow them outdoors, I repeat myself all the time when I say this, grow croton plants outdoors in full sun. You will do very well with that, and they will actually size up fairly quickly. And then you can see just more beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids. Just they have a bunch of white ones. And then right over here is a Ficus elastica ruby for $14.97. Beautiful looking Ficus elastica ruby. Now for the ruby version, to get that that red tone on the leaves, you want to make sure that you are definitely giving it a lot of light, bright indirect light, or even full sun. Some people say that, you know, ficus plants will burn in full sun. For some reason, me growing my ficus outdoors in full sun, they haven't burned at all. They have actually grown substantially large being outdoors in full sun. So I'm not 100% sure why people would say that. At least I've grown mine actually in the heat of summer in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, where I had like 100+ degree weather, and it did just fine. And then over here, Spathiphyllum or peace lily for $14.97. This one has wider leaves, and Spathiphyllum or peace lily can get very large. They're so lower light tolerant. You can literally grow one in the bathroom with no windows, and it will still do okay. It is a very thirsty plant, so growing that in a actual self-watering planter is a good idea. And then you can see right over here, we've got a bunch of Epipremnum aureum. I would assume these are Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos in a Costa Farms Trending Tropical Planter. This is for $19.84. Now for lemon meringue pothos, notice how it's got that green on green variegation. It actually gets more better variegation when you provide it with a lot of bright indirect light. And then we've got some Philodendron Pink Princess by Costa Farms right here. I would say these specific Philodendron Pink Princess by Costa Farms aren't necessarily as highly variegated as the ones that I've seen from Growers Bench. If you didn't get to see my last video of my Walmart haul, I was able to find a Walmart out on Custer Road in North McKinney, Texas, where they were selling Philodendron Pink Princess for $5. I repeat, $5. So it just really depends on when you get lucky to walk into some plants getting clearanced out. Walmart typically will clearance out prices. It's just a matter of getting lucky when the actual plant vendor does it. This is another beautiful Alocasia that I'm tempted to get again. This is the Alocasia Regina. Look at how beautiful that blue gray tone is on the leaves, and then the purple undersides are absolutely stunning. Love the veining of it. And this is a specific Alocasia that apparently is a little bit more of a thirsty Alocasia. This one tends to need more watering, so just make sure you stay on top of that. I actually let mine die back down. I'm hoping that I could just regrow it by making sure that the corm actually sprouts again. So I'm going to grow those outdoors. And then you can even see right over here, beautiful Epipremnum Arium lemon meringue pothos. Notice that it's got more of that yellow variegation. Now, the lemon meringue pothos is a mutation that was found by Costa Farms. So this is a Costa Farms plant. This probably has the best Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos variegation. Notice how it's got more of that yellow tone about it. It is a slower growing pothos, definitely a slower growing pothos, and it's a pothos that has smaller leaves. Now, if you were to grow that on a totem pole, it will start to size up on its leaves. And then, you know, this is not a grow folds plant shopping video unless I show you an Aglaonema red Siam. Notice how this is only for $14.97, but this has so many plants in here. It's already pushed out a bunch of baby pups. I would say that there were probably a good 6 or 7 plants in this actual planter. So you're getting a really good deal for $14.97. If you give a red Siam a lot more bright and direct light, it will definitely have better red coloration. And then you can see right here, I'm going to pan over to this third table where, again, beautiful plant merchandising and styling here with the Phalaenopsis orchids. Very classic, elegant looking white blooms. Now with Phalaenopsis orchids, you want to make sure that their actual plants, the planter, whether it's sphagnum moss that it's growing or actual orchid bark, dries out completely before you water it. Phalaenopsis orchids can easily get root rot if you overwater it, so it's better to just underwater them. And I'm just going to walk here one last time and just show you how full this actual Walmart is at Rockwell. They have some of the best selections so far, and this is another place I will eventually take a trip and visit. So plant folies, let me know what you think of this particular Walmart so far. And now we're going to go to the actual garden center and see what kind of plants they have outdoors. Now, it is a rainy day out in Rockwell, Texas, but I'm willing to go out here and get a little bit wet just so I can show you the outdoor section. So while the indoor section was super organized, I can say the same thing about this Rockwell outdoor section. Notice how beautiful and healthy the plants are. Even just as I walk through here, all the plants are organized. They've got some really nice tables full of plants. And it's not bad at all. I actually like the fact that it's cooler weather. I know a couple of days back it was starting to get hot out in North Dallas. We were getting 90-degree weather, so it's always nice to get the rain. It's good for the plants. You know, plants need that rainwater, and you can see here all of these gorgeous looking outdoor flowers and house plants. I wouldn't say these can be considered houseplants as well, but all of these outdoor plants for the garden look very healthy. They've got different types of annuals over here, and I'm just going to keep walking around and showing you. So as I've done a lot of these plant shopping videos the last couple of weeks, what I've realized is it's just interesting to show you guys all of these outdoor plants. I know that a lot of us are more into the indoor tropical plants, but you know, as Alfred, one of my plant folies said, one of my Canadian plant folies said, if you love plants, you will also appreciate outdoor plants. So perhaps I will, you know, expose people that are more used to like growing plants indoors to outdoor plants. Now, not everybody may have a home that they have like a backyard or a landscape space where you can grow plants outdoors, but that doesn't mean you can't grow like a planter full of them, a mixed planter. So as you can see here, look at how all of these colorful blooms are, how they just, you know, jump at you. And you already know, if I find this plant, this Coleus plant, I will feature it. Like, look at that neon green color right against those blooming kalanchoe flowers. It is absolutely stunning. And this is another one by Garden Expert. So this is a little bit more cost effective. For $6.97, you get this beautiful Coleus plant right here. Look at how large the leaves are. Look at the veining. Just look at it. Now, this particular Coleus will need to be more so in a shaded area or a place that just gets bright and direct light. maybe morning sun. Coleus plants, again, I just can't believe that I discovered them and found them, got obsessed with them, buy all of them. Like this one right here is for $17.88. Look at all of the different colors of this Coleus plant. And what's really cool is you can literally chop this back down to almost the base, take a bunch of cuttings, put them straight into to soil. You don't even have to put them in water, and within a week the roots will establish and you'll get a bunch of free plants. I have been propagating Coleus plants, and I've talked about this pretty much in every plant shopping video. So plant foldies, I really hope you guys don't get tired about some of the subjects I talk about, but I just want to keep growing a bunch of Coleus plants. There are some that I'm going to start training into a bonsai, and also just to grow them as a indoor tree. So like what I would do with this Coleus ruby slippers is, notice how there's a bunch of leaves and it's just a straight shoot. I would actually cut off all of the bottom leaves and just have like one long stem and maybe 4 or 5 leaves at the top, and then eventually I would chop the top off so it would like actually branch off. But I've seen YouTube videos where it demonstrated how to make a Coleus plant into a full-blown tree. As it gets older, some of the bottom stems will actually get woody, and that's where you get the Coleus trees. But I have found a bunch of gorgeous Instagram accounts that feature Coleus plants, specifically grown in Europe. I didn't realize that Coleus plants were a huge thing in Europe. They call them palette leaf plants, and in the Philippines, which is where I'm from, they call Coleus plants bayana plants, and I just can't stop talking about them. I'm like picking up a bird of paradise, but all I can think of is those beautiful Coleus plants. That's how crazy it is. And if you haven't grown a Coleus plant and even a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant like this was only for $5.84. Look at how beautiful that pink variegation is. I actually repotted mine in an 8-inch planter. I know it's a way larger planter for something like this, but it's doing very well. I'm growing mine outdoors in south facing, and it's in full sun and it's doing very well. It's actually giving me some really hot pink variegation. So cordyline tea plants, that's another plant that I wish I could grow indoors. But when you grow them indoors, I've said this before and I will continue to say this, they're really not meant to be grown indoors just because they're a little bit more susceptible to spider mites. And can we say how gorgeous these plants look like after being rained on? Everything just looks so much more healthy after a good soak of the rain. I bet you these plants are super happy. I'm glad that they were actually watered, because I always wonder how big box stores are able to keep up with this. Like, look at this. All of the plants, for instance, indoors at the Rockwall Target, I keep saying Target. Well, at the Rockwall Walmart here have just very healthy looking plants. Like none of the plants were over, like they weren't dry at all. None of them were dying. And like even here, this holly fern for $6.77. Look at how beautiful that is. I do like the fact that whenever there's an overcast or when it's cloudy or rainy, the plants outdoors, especially the green plants, tend to have more of a neon glow about them. And you already know this is everybody's favorite. This is the Hydra Helix, or what you would say the Hedera Helix. That's the correct way to say it. This English ivy is a beautiful ivy. This is also used for ground cover. This is just a typical green English ivy. I'm gonna eventually try to grow another English ivy, just not right now because I've got so much going on with just my plants. And then you can see right here, this is some ground cover ajuga. This isn't the variegated form, and this is for $4.37. Look at how compact the form is. I have a variegated one. I have 2 planters of them and they are absolutely stunning. I am gonna grow them as house plants. Right now they're growing in full sun and I've been getting some beautiful variegation from them. And then you can see right over here, look at all of these annual plants. Now, annuals means these plants can only grow for like one growing season. But I'll say for Coleus plants, you can overwinter them. Like this one is for $8.78. This is a Main Street Coleus plant. Look at how beautiful that coloration is. You can chop this up again and get several cuttings and actually get several free plants. I am all about saving money, and the way you can save money is just just getting free plants. Here is another Coleus again. Look at how beautiful this one is. This one is also for $8.78 by Better Homes and Gardens. I already have all of the Coleus that I've shown here. Like I said before, I am super obsessed with Coleus plants. I have about 30 of them growing out in my front patio. It has literally taken over my front yard, and I might go ahead and do a Coleus plant tour. So I've talked about doing an indoor house plant tour. I might just show you my Coleus collection because it has grown substantially, and you can see why. And like, look at this right here. Look at this sea of Coleus wasabi. So one of my favorite Coleus plants, and I actually bought one of these, and you can see how beautiful neon color it is. And on top of that, this Coleus plant is a vigorous grower. It gets large leaves. I love the leaf shape, and this can grow in full sun. So most Coleus plants can't really grow in full sun, but this Coleus wasabi with this electrifying neon green tone, so beautiful, and it can grow in full sun. This one is a flamethrower Coleus plant, and then we've got a bunch of New Guinea impatiens. We've got some more petunias right over here. So I'm just gonna walk over and kind of pan over and look at this. This is probably the biggest outdoor garden section I've ever seen at a Walmart. And can I say that this Walmart is literally the best Walmart in terms of just how they have kept their plants. They're all healthy. I mean, look at this. This is a sea of orange and red Coleus plants. Now, the majority of these Coleus are like this one right here. The red ones are the ruby slipper ones. These ones are for $5.88. Beautiful plant. I bought this one not too long ago, and I have yet to repot it in a bigger pot. I am going to propagate from it. Love that red color. And then look at this Coleus campfire. So I actually bought one for $5.88. Put it in an 8-inch planter, and it has become a full bush. It's about 2 feet wide and about 2.5 feet tall, and I've already chopped it up and made a bunch of cuttings, and the cuttings took and it got more bushy, and it just keeps me excited. I mean, can you tell that whenever I look at Coleus plants, I am super excited? I don't know if I will lose some viewership because all I can talk about is Coleus plants, but seriously, who doesn't want to grow Coleus plants? Like plant foldies, look at this. This is beautiful, and while most of you guys will think these plants are really meant to grow outdoors, like in the ground, in like a flower bed, no, you can actually grow them in a container, put them indoors, and get some beautiful coloration in an indoor space. I'm gonna show you. I wish I could show everybody these beautiful Coleus plants grown up as like a 3 to 4 foot tree indoors. Seriously, some of those European plant lovers that grow them have really established some beautiful looking Coleus plants. If you follow me on my Instagram account at Growfolds, and if you aren't and you have an Instagram account, please do. You can send me a direct message anytime. I will respond to you. But there are some Coleus plant trees that I actually share on my stories. Also, if you do follow me on my Instagram, you'll know whenever I'm doing a live premiere. I use my Instagram stories to really make announcements for the YouTube channel. Since I haven't had a chance to make a Facebook account for the Plant Foldy community, I just haven't figured out how to do all of that. It's going to take a little bit of time, but just know I will eventually get that done. But look at all of this. This is a sea of flowers. Hands down, this is the most gorgeous outdoor Walmart section I've ever seen. Like, look at this. This is just super full, and then there's just so many plants to choose from. And again, Walmart is a place that you want to buy plants, especially outdoor gardening plants, because you get the most cost-effective prices. When you compare their outdoor plants, like the Better Homes and Garden plants, even the Garden Expert plants, which are super cheap, you will save a lot of money, and I would recommend it. But look at all of these beautiful flowers. I just keep walking back and forth. I don't care if I'm getting rained on because I really want to highlight this for you guys. Plant foldies, let me know if your Walmarts look like this. Again, this is in Rockwall, Texas, which is located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you can see here, I just can't stop looking at these Coleus plants. And I'm just going to pan over one more time to show you how full this outdoor section is. Obviously, I spent some time in the indoor plant section. Just because I felt like I've been showing a lot of outdoor plants, I want to make sure I'm not alienating anybody that's more into the indoor house plants. But I can't help but show you how much love I have. And even as I exit out of this place, notice the overage of plants that they have. They even have plants outside the outdoor section. They've got a bunch of hanging baskets, and look at right over here. I have found some more Coleus plants. These Coleus plants are for $17.88. I love this. I already have this Coleus plant as well, but look at how beautiful that is. It's super lush and full. I am getting excited. I think I am going to finally do a Coleus plant tour. So plant foldies, leave in the comments if you want to see that specifically. I just need to make sure that I get my area, my patio looking good before I show you guys that on YouTube. And this is the first time I've ever seen this. A variegated bougainvillea with white blooms. This is for $22.44. I would actually buy this as well. And this is in a hanging basket. That's super cool. I've seen the variegated bougainvillea raspberry ice, like the more like the marine tone, but I've never seen the white bougainvillea, so that's really cool. I probably should have bought this, but I'm surprised that as gorgeous as this actual plant nursery, I would call this a plant nursery out at the Rockwall Target. I say Rockwall Target, you know Target's on my mind, but the Rockwall Walmart, this is so beautiful. Like, look at this. They've got so many plants that they've actually had to have some plants outdoors, outside of their outdoor garden section. This is a full-blown garden center. Like, this is ridiculous. Plant foldies, let me know what you think. Like, is this the best Walmart I've shown you so far? I really want to know your thoughts. I know I keep asking for some comments, but please leave some comments. I really want you guys to like share that with me. But like this one right here, I don't think I have this particular Coleus plant, so I might have to buy that or come back for it. But you can see, super cool, super full, super lush. What a gorgeous looking outdoor section here at this Rockwall Walmart. I really would urge anybody that is going to go big box store plant shopping, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely take a trip out to the Rockwall Walmart. This was the same Walmart that had a bunch of those Monstera Thai constellations, the large forms by Costa Farms, and I wouldn't be surprised if they featured it. But look at how red this beautiful Coleus plant is. Again, if you don't have a Coleus plant, plant foldies, or anybody watching this video, a good beginner plant, a plant that will bring you a lot of joy, please let me know. Anyways, this is Richie at Grow Folds. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one.